Welcome, everyone. We are back for the Super Millions. This is season 2, episode 57. I am Jeff Gross, your host. Gonna do a giveaway today. Don't worry, we got that teed up. I also have a very special guest today. The man, the myth, Scott Ball, won the No Limit Player of the Year at the World Series last year and actually hit the $1 million bounty on GG during the WSOP mystery bounty last week. So he is going to be joining us. He is actually in a tournament currently, a 30K turbo, fairly deeper than he thought. He thought he would no way miss the show, but he is going to probably be joining us very shortly. He's still in there, so good luck to him at Triton Cyprus. I will be heading there tonight myself. But yeah, let's dive in. We got a huge show, huge action, big names, big prize pool. It's Super Millions. It is Tuesday. We are live. Let's get to the final table. Let's see what we got today. We got some big names as usual. It's almost every week without fail. We got some of the biggest, brightest stars. And look at that. I'm telling you, you want to talk about booth magic? How about Benjamin Raleigh? Ben CB was on the show, our last guest, and here he is. He's got 6 million in GG earnings. He's a crusher. He has been a guest on the show, just like Sergio Ado, who came on the show and then won the Hard Rock for 900K, the 5K main event. Welcome in, everyone. He's back. I tee it up. His birthday was yesterday. So was mine. Happy birthday, Sergio. Quite a start for him having a birthday and in the at the final table. What energy is powerful. He's a guest as well on the show. We see some other big names. We could kind of go through everybody, but my man, Wiktor Malinowski, is he or is he not the greatest performer on the Super Millions of all time? I mean, I gotta go to the notes. I gotta go to his resume. He has a astounding 38 appearances in season 1, 47 in season 2. He's got 2 wins in season 2, 1 in season 1. That's 3. Unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. We have got a special show today. Hope to get Scott Ball in, as I mentioned, but we are off and running here. And Wiktor is very short with 253,000. You can see about 4 blinds. You've seen him work off a short stack very well. Let's see if he can do it again. I'm going to pull up the chat with you guys. We're going to be hanging, and we are going to be doing a giveaway. Snake draft. I got to give you guys a couple guys today. We're going to give you at least 50, maybe 100. I am going to pull down. Let me get the YouTube chat situated. It's always fun to be with you guys and hang out, take a look at what's going on. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you hit the thumbs up. Hope you tell me where you're watching from. And I see a lot of familiar faces already in the chat. So good to see you guys. Good to see it. And my man, look at the love. I'm going to just type on the side there. I got to say, I took a week off. It was Burning Man. It happened to be time well. There was no show last week, so we are back and joining today for another edition of the show. And Bruno Volkmann, the Brazilian. Any Brazilians out there? Prazer, Boa-tarde. Good to see you. You guys know I'm biased to Brazil. My son is half Brazilian. My wife is full Brazilian. And, you know, I'm just from Michigan, but I got love for Brazil. So here we go. We got ace queen. Wiktor going to be ripping this in, no doubt, off of a min raise. And actually, Benjamin Raleigh, Ben CB, a little bit light. So ace queen, it looks like we'll get in against another ace queen. Be interesting to see what our player in the big blind comes with here, as this is a bit of an interesting spot to see a raise under the gun, a re-raise, and a big stack, actually, one of the biggest stacks there. So I'm actually curious what he's going to go with, if he wants to reopen the action, make it 600-700K, or if he is going to find another maneuver. But either way, we got an interesting final table today. Great to see you guys. I am getting my phone calls. I hope Scott Ball does well in the tournament. Let's see if we can keep an update on him. And there it is, 489. So nicely done. And they are going to likely chop up some equity as they have the exact same hand. And there it is, 455. You can see 50-50. And Sergio, a bit tilted. Looks like he might have won that hand. Excuse me. Hope you got your coffee. Hope you're ready to rock. We are ready to go here. Super Millions, again, season 2, episode 57. Appreciate you guys. And Wiktor, it looks like, did have more chips. And then as the final table started here officially today, he did lose some chips. We didn't get to pick up the action. We're on a delay, of course. And we will be playing to a winner, 325,000 going to first. Big day, big action. And it is going. It is going. We're underway. Ace-3, blind on blind, 25K. We see a limp. This is definitely a hand Ben could isolate with. Ace-3 off, one of those ones he is going to. It is a nice check back, is what it is. Ace-King to Ace-3. It is a check back again. So Ace-King, not a great flop. let's see here. I'm just seeing. I'm going to communicate with Scott Ball, guys. We'll keep an update on that. It's playing for some big money, $30,000 live tournament, but we will be hopefully hearing from him and about the crazy moment where he won the $1 million bounty. It was pretty insane how that went. And we're going to get to talk to him. So let's see. Ace 3 high should check back. See a check back, and Ben going to be happy to put more. Yeah, we've got Victor Malinowski, Chris, my man. Yeah, Victor, we showed his resume. We were going to say the first player out today will get 45,000 and your champion is going to get 325,000. Who do you guys want? I'm going to let you guys pick 2 names. How about that? I'm going to just let you guys pick 2 names. It's going to be a $50 GG tournament ticket no matter what, and 100 if you win. Since Scott isn't here to do a snake draft, I'm just going to let you guys pick who you want. The more names I see of the same guy, I'm going to give you guys 2. So you guys get to choose. I'm feeling generous today, feeling spicy. Sorry that we missed last week. Hopefully Scott joins us, and we are going to go ahead and you tell me which 2 players you want for the chance to win a double bonus. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be 50 or 100 no matter what. At the end of the show, I will pick a winner, and I kind of know who I think the 2 players you guys are going to pick is going to be, but we'll let you put in there. And I got so much love for you guys. 27 of you only have hit the thumbs up. We got to get to 200 thumbs up to activate the giveaway, of course, but I know there's thousands on you that come in here, so we're going to hit that easily. But please hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying, if you like free rolls, if you like poker, if you like the color purple, if you like GG, WSOP going on, the main event. Anyone playing out there? Who's going to win the main event this year? Could be you. I don't believe I got a wedding that weekend, and I'm not going to be able to get out of country to be able to play. I'm pretty disappointed. There's a slight chance Sunday, maybe I could play, get to Canada and do it from a wedding I'm at. I don't know, but I'm a little sad because I was really looking forward to it. 20 mil guaranteed. GG gets it done in a big way, and we are here picking up the action on the 8-9, King 3, 9-3 suited the hands, and we see a 9-8 of clubs. Benjamin on the button with the best hand. Of course, Sergio 8-0, 9-3 going to be interested. Thinking he could have the best hand, and Bruno with the King 3 in the small blind. I missed the action, but I guess it was a min raise and maybe a call. Yeah, this is exciting. This is just, I honestly, for me, I feel like it can't really call us a job because I love it. I love watching hand reviews, final table reviews, and to do it live with some of the best players in the world. I mean, I know Chris Putz is also a crusher. We've got him. Doesn't look like he plays as many of the events here on the Super Millions, but he does have some winnings in the Super Millions, playing 4 cashes, and he's in the money 22% of the time. Can see the stats here. This is a big final table. Some big names. Sergio 8-0, as I mentioned. Stone Crusher, happy birthday. We share the birthday September 5th. Any Virgos out there, I'm ready to rock with you. I am ready for a big month. I just came off Burning Man. That's where I met my wife in 2014. Hadn't been back in 5 years. Was cruising around the desert. Antonio Spandiari had a good time. If you guys check out my Instagram, I did put up some photos from that. If you don't know about Burning Man, Google it. You're in for a treat. And in the moment, 9-3 suited is debating on continuing. Doesn't have the best hand. Does fold. So great players do make great decisions. What up, Ben in the chat? My man Tommy in the chat. We got some legends out there. We have got some legends out there, man. Let's see. King, Queen, Chris under the gun. Vulnerable stack opens up. I like it. Going for it. And there's the all-in from my man. Is his real name Nike? Is that real? That's pretty sick. He is all in, and he's got a dominating position. He is going to get called. And he is going to get some good news because he has got a 616K pot with a dominating hand. As we know, that's not a guarantee to win, but it's a good start. 87.98% to the turn. No chops available. Needs a king or king only, or a double up will be secured for Nike. Mayo, and that's a double up. That is a double up. That would be a double up. And just as we know, sometimes we lose them fast, sometimes we lose them slow. Who do you guys? Bruno and Ben CB. And some people want Victor, but he's so chip stacked. All right, I see a lot of Benjamin Raleigh in the chat. I see a lot of Bens in the chat. So let's go with Ben and Bruno. Ben and Bruno, the bees. Ben and Bruno, you guys got that. If they win, the giveaway that will be done will be $100. If they don't win, you'll still $50 giveaway. You got to hit the 200 thumbs up. Appreciate you guys being here. I'm Jeff Gross, your host. Scott Ball should join us. I am going to see if he does. And I'm just messaging with Scott right now. Scott Ball. Hopefully he joins because he's on the banner. If he doesn't show up at all, I mean, it feels wrong. I gotta give like 100 out of my pocket on top of that. I feel like there was some miscommunication. Scott, I told him about the show. He said he was coming. You know, I get it. He's in Cyprus. He's playing the 200K as a businessman. I think Brewer is his partner. He's getting warmed up. And then it was a turbo. He's like, oh, you know, I have to be super deep if I'm going to miss the show. But I would have had another guest if I knew that was the case. So a bit of miscommunication, and we'll go from there. We'll go from there. We'll see if we can get it done. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what we can come up with. We see Bruno, Queen 7 off the computer hand. That is the dead middling hand if you're playing heads up poker. He does open it up. And look at this, showing he understands the stack sizes, what he's doing, how he's playing. He does open it up, and he is going to pick up that pot. So a nice chip lead. This is maybe the biggest chip lead we've seen in the Super Millions at this juncture. I don't think we've really had someone this far ahead with 9 players left. So Bruno Volkmann, absolutely pair. He's a talent. He's a crusher from Brazil. Also has a record for the Super Millions. He has played a lot. He has 0 titles. He has 9 cashes and 45 appearances in season 2. And he has 2 wins in season 1 with 44 appearances. So very experienced player. A lot of results, a lot of moxie. Plays live high rollers. I know I was doing commentary over at Triton Madrid earlier this summer, and I saw him really put on a great show. So here we go. Ben with the Rays, Ace King, and Chris Putz with 9s. Pretty certainly, although ICM, you know, it sucks to put it in. You got sub 10 blinds, you got 9s, you got a big stack opening. I think all systems are go, even though it's under the gun. It's not a lovely spot, and Victor is shorter. So you're talking about risking 12 grand to potentially be flipping, but we saw Ben open King 7 suited from early position. He could have some lower pairs. I personally would go with it. I'm on the tighter side. ICM may say fold. Let's see what Chris goes with here. He's thinking it's a fellow Austrian flag, and definitely not a dream spot. I think 9s are probably, I think 8s he would fold. I feel like 9s is still questionable, and he is going to go for it. 8s, I don't know, maybe go. And Scott Ball said he has got 40 left, and he's got a healthy stack. So I don't know if we're going to get him. There it is, 9s to Ace King, cards on their backs. Let's see 5, important equity flip. It is an ace. No waiting right away. Got a little heart sweat here. 3 to 1, you can see you can hit a 9 or heart, or Chris will be going home, and it is not. It is a queen, and that is a double out. I should not say double up. It's a big pot for Ben. Puts him over 3 million into a comfortable second place, and we will lose our first player. 9th place. Congrats to Chris, 45K. 8 left, 57,000. Next page up, 325 for first. No splits available. No deal making in the Super Millions format. And as you guys know, we're here every Tuesday. Great to see you. Appreciate you being here. And we are locked and loaded right now. All right, you guys got to Joey Ingram be a great guest. Love to have Joey on. Joey was one of my first guests on my podcast, and obviously an absolute crusher. So that's a great suggestion. I got to catch up with him. I haven't talked to Joey in a while. I know he kind of disappeared from social media. He came back. Yeah, Joey would be great. All right, well, we are here watching action, and we see Sergio Edu pump up the ace 10 suited. As we can see, no one really has anything. Hard to get dealt. And we have got a lot to talk about. $1 million bonus. That's the guy. Can you imagine that? I wanted him to tell a story because he's late. I'll cue it up in a bit what happened, but it's a bit of a crazy story. I gotta say, $1 million. I think the day 2 in the money was a first hand dealt player. Scott Ball did not know he won the million. Someone had to tell him he did, but we'll go into that a little bit more in a bit. Hopefully we get to hear it from his mouth. If not, I'll tell you about it. And there's some Ben fans, some Razor Edge fans in the chat. NCB, again, appreciate him being on. He was the last guest on the show. The highlight video is up on my YouTube, Jeff Gross Poker. And of course, you can watch the full highlight here. Not highlight, you can watch the full final table of any of the Super Millions on the GG YouTube channel. Crossed over 100,000 subscribers. Congrats to them. Going to get that plaque. Got our plaque in the background there. Kind of blocking it, actually. Maybe need to reposition. That's something I'm proud of. Content, poker, YouTube. And I am excited to see what happens today. Who gets to take this tournament down? So many great players. Probably a lot of them going to be in Cyprus at some point. I mean, Sergio Ado, Victor, I think is there or was there, and Benjamin Raleigh, who I know is crushing the esports world as well. I don't think is. Don't believe he's going to be going. I forget he was traveling. All right. Well, we are to a showdown. Fives versus fours, better pair wins. If we could put Ramiro Patron's resume on the screen, I don't know if we have that queued up or not. He has had a busy season 2 with 9 cashes, and he has actually won as well. So Ramiro has taken down a Super Millions event, and we are going to see who's going to get another title today. We do have a few players that do not have a win or even a cash from, let's see, a couple cashes. No, okay. Our friend Nike Milo in season 1 had no cashes, has 3 cashes in season 2. It looks like some deep runs and good scores. And there it is, 3s to 9s all in. Victor is going to need help on the river, not to be, and that is it for the hero. Says good game, moves on, and we are down to 7. So things moving pretty quick. This has the makings of potentially a quicker final table with Bruno having such a big stack. Well, let's see. We got a open. Ben showing he's opened up a bit. And this is interesting. A lot of low pairs here in the late positions. We see a flat with deuces. Sergio folds the fours, doesn't find it promising to shove in. And look at that. Fours fold, deuces call, king 5 suited, king 10 both miss. That's the good news. Let's see if Bruno can get any value here. Does he ever check back on the 7-3 deuce or no? I mean, there's draws, right? The big blind has straight draws. There's flush draws. Why would you get free cards? Got to believe he's going to bet small here. Maybe like 115, 130. Yeah, there it is. And he may get unlucky that no one has anything. Possibly been this deep on this type of board texture, wants to get saucy, but really versus the chip leader out of position, I think you wait for a better spot. All right, well, next hand. Here we go. There he is, going to exit out, and 10.3 million in GGPoker winnings. Very impressive for Victor. He is going to bow out of the tournament. That is a tough loss for, I know so many people who love they love the player. My man, I mean, it's just limitless. The guy is a true legend of the game, and he just seems to always make the final table. So tough to see him go. Sergio going to flash the king. Big hello. Again, happy birthday to Sergio. All right. Distribution. It's fun to see cards face up. You realize you don't really get good hands very often. It's hard to make pairs, let alone a made hand. And here, no one really has anything. All right. King deuce ace jack. So a familiar theme. We see another blind on blind battle. That we saw a limp with the ace king last time. So obviously going to be balance the king deuce off. And Benjamin not going to check back this ace, a suited ace. He will take that down. All right, 10-3 suited, 9-10 off. Ben gonna limp. Bruno with the hand you would think would check back, but this deep, he could put pressure. He's got a big lead. Definitely could check back this type of hand. I think Bruno has shown a lot of aggression. He does flop top, well, middle and bottom 2 pair versus Ben's middle pair. So this could get a little expensive for Ben depending on the turn. He's certainly not going to fold for a bet. And this is actually was a fairly wet board. He does size up a tiny bit, a little more than maybe normal. Just realizing that there's straight draws, there's a lot going on, and Ben does not fold. And lucky for him, he doesn't hit the 3. Does have a 4. It's a brick turn, and I don't think he's going to be able to fold here. And I expect Bruno to probably go pretty big as well. Maybe hard to value bet the river on some spades or a king or a jack or an 8. So he is probably going to bet, I would guess, healthy here, like 280, 300. gets called by a queen, unblocks top pair. So he even goes bigger. I love it. That makes sense. That would definitely be a spot where you could overbet. And, Ben knows he's going to have to make some folds or he's going to get bluffed. But in this particular spot, it just goes ahead and lets go, and correctly so. So take a look there at the payouts. 45,000 has been awarded, 57,000 as well. A lot to play for. 325 up top. The Super Millions are juiced up. They're getting spicy. Thank you for all of you. Hit the thumbs up. And again, we are going to have a $50 or $100 giveaway. Benjamin Raleigh or Bruno Volkmann win. That will be it for 100. We're going to double it up the giveaway today. So yeah, we've got a lot of action. Look at the payouts here. As you see how top heavy it is, the top three basically getting 200,000 right now. If you go out, you get 73, still pretty nice. We are going to have a bit of it. We're going to run through some of the player profiles. We're going to talk about some of the upcoming events, the World Series that's going on, the main event, as well as look at some of the player profiles here right now. So we have got a very star-studded final seven. Sergio Ado, I mentioned, is an absolute crusher, and he has been a guest. Benjamin Raleigh has been a guest. Maybe we get Victor on as a guest. I know that's a fan favorite for who we would like to have on. I think that was one of the more popular players in the game. Yeah, that is a look at a man, a focused man who has won so much, but on GG doesn't have a ton of earnings. It's kind of crazy, right? Some players have just better results at certain sites. Maybe he just hasn't played as much. I'll tell you, Sergio Ado has only played 13 times in season 2. He has 2 cashes, and in season 1, he has 8 for 1. So it's one of those things where the best players in the world, certain formats, certain tournaments, obviously there's variance in tournaments can happen, and it is a something where Sergio just doesn't have the most impressive GG resume, but one of the more impressive poker players in the world. So again, happy birthday to Sergio. We wish him a lot of luck. Let's take a look at our next player. We're going to take a look and kind of go through the profiles. We have a slight technical difficulty. Don't worry, we'll do the giveaway. We're going to call to action. We're going to get through it all, and it is still plenty of things to play. So let's take a look at some other player profiles while we get this this action up. So Benjamin Raleigh, look at this man, 1.6 million Super Millions earnings, 6 million on GGPoker. If you guys know about Raise Your Edge, if you don't, I don't know where you've been, because pretty much everyone knows, one of the leading poker programs to study, to learn, and a great environment for players. They have an amazing Discord, and I am a part of that community as well, so I highly recommend it. Ben CB is just, one of the best that you're going to see. So there he is, Benjamin Raleigh, taking a look at that. If you guys have never checked that out, I really highly recommend it. And also, again, the highlights from our last stream, the GG Super Millions guest. So I don't know, I talk about this all the time. I tell players, hey, if you come on the show, booth magic is real. It's happened multiple times in very succinct fashion. Also, I found that whenever I do commentary and then go play, it does help. So I invite people to do that, and it does seem to be a true thing that does happen. I also have got to say, Scott Ball, who is known for winning the WSOP Player of the Year No Limit last year's World Series, hit the $1 million bounty. I'm going to tell you a little story since we're having a little technical difficulty. I'm going to explain to you what happens. So, all right. Well, you know what? They flashed Bruno Volkmann. Before I tell the Scott Ball $1 million bounty story, which is pretty incredible, I'm going to talk about Bruno Volkmann. 8 million in GGPoker earnings. That's crazy. Over 2 million in the Super Millions. And as I mentioned to you before, he has had 2 wins in season 1, none in season 2. We have the most wins is Victor Malinowski has 3 wins overall. And actually, a bunch of players do not have a title to their name. So let's see if Bruno's going to go ahead and claim another, or if we'll have someone else win it. But he also has so many results live, and he is definitely regarded as one of the top Brazilian crushers and just overall crushers in the world. So good to see Bruno again. He's got a big chip lead. Let's see how he will utilize that. And we've got the Scott Ball story. I'm going to get an update on Scott Ball. I think he is still in. It is a 2-day event, and we should be seeing him regardless. Excuse me. There it is. Spades 411. Rocking the Russian flag, 1.962 million. He will be over 2 million in Super Million earnings alone, has over 3 million in earnings. And it is a absolute pleasure to see him again. I'll give you guys a little more context on Spades. He has gotten in on season 2. He didn't play any in season 1. He has 43 appearances with 16 cashes for 1.9 million. So those are some healthy cashes. He's not min cashing to have almost 2 million in GG Super Millions earnings alone, and he has no win, but obviously some very good results. And there he is. This guy, I should have mentioned him earlier, is not a man that can hide. He's known as one of the best PLO players in the world. I'll probably give his name a bit of a hard time, but I know Elis Parzinin is one of the best players you will ever find playing poker. I believe in No Limit Hold'em as well, but I know for a fact I can confidently say PLO, the great game, he is one of the guys you just don't want to see. Always in the mix, always crushing. And let's take a look at his season 2. He has 11 appearances, 3 cashes, and 231,000 in Super Millions alone in this season. Last season, he had 1.29 million with 15 appearances, 7 cashes. So he finds his way into the money a fair amount. Definitely a guy that is dangerous and knows what he's doing, and we will look forward to seeing him today. And again, guys, remember, you have a $50 giveaway. Hit the thumbs up. I'll give you a keyword later in the show, and if it's $100, it will be if Ben or Bruno win. Ramiro Patron, 4.5 million in GGPoker winnings, 1 million in Super Millions earnings. And look at this man. He has a title as well in season 2 off 34 appearances, 9 cashes, and a win. So very talented player. And he is looking, he's smiling. Why not? He is crushing the game of life and poker. And we hope Ramiro will do well, but you guys don't want him to do too well because you are looking for that $100 bonus today. I see a couple Brazilians in there. I saw a couple Prazers, a couple Boa Tardes. My Brazilian Portuguese language should be better. My son is 3 years old. He officially speaks better than me now, which is a bit humbling, but you know, it's not easy to learn a language and pick it up later in life. So we'll see if we can figure that out. And there he is. Nike Mayo has got 240,000 in Super Millions earnings, 639,000. Looks a little less experience than some of the other players, but we did see him get a double held with the ace queen off to king queen off. We'll see if he is able to take it down and run it up. But you guys are, again, you have 2 players you're sweating that you're rooting for in particular. I gave you guys the chip leaders. I was feeling generous, and we are off and running. This is a look at the payouts again. We've got 639,000 in earnings for the player, and this Chris Putz 45,000. It was fast. We went down from 9 to 8. We're down already to 7, 73,000. You can see it starts getting into the 6-figure territory. Whether you're looking at ICM or not, this is an important part of the tournament. Some players respect it more than others. Some players go for it more than others. But I can tell these guys are not afraid. And seeing the big stack dynamic from Bruno and Ben, I think you're going to see Bruno really take advantage of the seat and put pressure on players and utilize it. I think this will be a unique final table for Super Millions because, again, we have not really seen someone just separate themselves from the pack like this in this format. With the amount of players there are, it's hard to have such a lead at a final table, but Bruno has done just that. So I do some fun. I do see some fun Brazilians in the chat, man. I'm a bit biased because I asked my wife, minha esposa brasileira. I met her at Burning Man. I just got back from Burning Man, hadn't been in 5 days. We walked past each other in the middle of Playa, both our first times going. Antonio Esfandiari got me to go in 2014. I was single for 8 years and then instantly said I was going to marry my wife, and that was it. If you go to my Instagram page, my last post, I do have that up, some pictures from Burning Man. It is insane. If you've never seen or heard of it, I guarantee you it's going to be insane. This is something that there's poker, there's life, there's fun, there's experiences. I would put this up there as one of the greatest experiences I've ever done, and I would highly recommend it. If you get a chance to look into it, possibly go at some point, I think you will not regret it. It's dusty, it's dirty, it's hot, but it's fun, and it's not for everyone. But if it's for you, you'll thank me later. Again, Scott. All right, let me tell the Scott Ball story. Scott Ball. So he is in the $1 million bounty. There is like 50,000 plus players that hits the 10 mil guaranteed, 210 buy-in, okay? Day 1 ends. Now everyone's in the money. I think about 4,800 players are remaining, and every bounty from there on knockout is a bounty. Fast forward day 2. There's one $1 million chest, one. I think there's 2 400-something thousand chests, some 82,000, some other various things, a lot of $100 chests, right? Or some 1,000s and $100. So what happens is first hand dealt, he's in his PJs. He wakes up, he's ready to roll, getting the $200 tournament. This guy, Scott Ball, is playing a $200,000 Cypress event. He won the player of the year. No, he's just kind of like, all right, it's a $200 bounty. Let me, good luck, whatever. It's a fun gimmicky, if you want to call it gimmicky tournament, not a gimmick anymore. First hand dealt, knocks a player out, wins the $1 million. But here's the crazier part. On his screen, it shows 1,000,000. He thinks it's 1,000. He probably hasn't even had his cup of coffee yet, right? He's just like, oh, 1,000. Doesn't even look at it. He thinks he wins 1,000, moves on. About 5 minutes later, someone calls him and says, hey, did you just win $1 million bounty? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, what are you talking about? Goes to his cashier. It was hidden. Bam. 1 million in his cashier. He didn't realize he had won it. He saw the chest pop up. I would think it's 1,000 too. Who thinks you're winning $1 million on a thing? It looked like 1,000 dot, not comma, but 1 million in the bank. He's our guest today. Hopefully he joins us later, and we are going to pick up the action. And look at this. We got a raise and a flat from Bruno, and Sergio going to take the invite to go all in. And Bruno actually with the hand that's sort of trapping enough. I mean, if Ramiro were to continue, which he won't, he might fold, but this is going to be a likely call. Although with 5.2 million ace queen off, he could be flipping a lot. You got to believe it's too high up in his range to fold. He does run it. Sergio, the birthday boy from yesterday, avoids the flop. Scary turn, picks up some more equity. Can he do it? He's a Virgo. It's September. It looks scary, but it is a double up. It is a double up, and boom. Boom, boom, boom. Sergio, 2.3 million. Things tighten up, and as we said, that would have been a huge swing. Bruno would have had 6.6 million and just running away with things. Now there's it's tight. Things tighten up a bit. See if Bruno affects himself on the gas or not. He is just going to pick up where he left off, raising it up. All right, queen deuce suited, ace three off for the player who is the risk premium. Ben CB will like that. Talking about one of the things I learned from his course. So he's got the least to risk, and this player is going to be not having full equity, but again, ace three decides just going to have the best hand. He's going to take his risk, take it here, and ace three flops to pair. The bad news, spade draw, fades the turn. Big favorite going to the river. Can he fade the spade? He can. Just like that, Bruno doubles up a couple players. So we go from a 9-8 7-handed chance for 2 knockouts. Both players survive. We were still 7-handed. Chips tighten up a little. That was not a big hit to Bruno's stack, but you know, couple hands, you start doubling players up here and there, things can get out of whack a bit. So let's see what he can come up with here. But I'm going to open the queen jack off, likely take this down, likely pick it up. Sergio folding the jack 4-2-8's going to pop it up, and Ramiro probably flat here with this hand, this position, this stack, this deep. But you know what? What do I know? He decides to fold, take a little more conservative route, doesn't want to get caught in a weird spot. Also has to understand Eos may just shove in some of his jams, doesn't want to lose the extra chips, and then not want to call off with ace-9 suited if it does even fold back to him. So curious one. That would be a hand that, you know, if I'm watching, if I'm looking to get improved, get better, that'd be a hand I want to look at, kind of see what hands do you flat with there in that situation. What hands might you even want to 3-bet, turn into a bluff, and to fold. So that was probably very close. I'd imagine ace-10 suited is definitely playing. So you can imagine ace-9 suited is a very close decision, and he does fold. You know, Sergio sees a raise in front of him. Benjamin Raleigh been very active. Let's see if Sergio decides to get sticky. He doesn't. And now it is really going to just be up to space with the jack 10 off in the big blind, completing one blind deep enough. You know, he's in bad shape, but I think you got to call the one blind closing the action. He does call. This is a flop that would favor our big blinds range, right? He has like all those kind of low hands, some connected stuff, suited low cards where Ben isn't going to be opening so much of those things. It may not even open, I guess fives he would open with 7-handed in his stack, but this is something to consider. All right, Ben, not afraid, takes it down, denies equity for such a hand like that, like a 1 over card or something that just doesn't want to continue. And a good start for Ben, who is up to 3.3 million chips, closing in on the chip lead. And Sergio Ado gonna go ahead and fold in 2 threes first in off those blind and stack. I would imagine that's Book says shove with the ICM though. He does pass it up and doesn't want to play. So I am a little surprised by that. There is a shorter stack than him, may weigh in his considerations, but as we see, it is a takedown for Ben, who is up to 3.3. And again, him and Bruno getting very close to the same stack. And there's a welcome sight for the birthday man yesterday, September 5th. Shares a birthday with me. It's a nice spot. And he picks up kings, and against king 10, certainly going to play. It does call good news for Bruno. It doesn't flop a 10 high board and get himself in some trouble. Should likely check fold, although he does have a king of clubs. Maybe gets a little creative, floats one, and not really a spot against under the gun, though. It doesn't seem like an amazing situation. But the best players, they find these spots, these little bit of trickerations, maybe check raise, call. So he floats. Now he hits a pair. Likely just going to, this was a tough card for him because a club he actually may bluff could potentially win, whereas this is now just going to be some showdown value where he's way behind. And Bruno, I think, likely going to just check back with the king 10. Still enough showdown value. Could block or bet, right? Could throw out some quarter bet, 20% bet here. All right, look at that. So we see that there is the blocker small bet executed, and Sergio going to call. So nice pickup. And all right, Ben likes it. He says nice hand, proves how it was played. We are seeing a space disconnect now. Ace 10 off, kind of unlucky here. He would be having the best hand. And let's see if he doesn't lose his whole time bank. And this is concerning, right? He's disconnected. He's folding a winning hand in the cutoff. This is a pretty bad break. Appreciate you guys hitting that thumbs up. 66 so far. 200 activates to giveaway. 50 or 100 is the giveaway we're doing today. And you guys have Benjamin Raleigh and Bruno Volkman. So we are going to see a little bit of sportsmanship. Looks like players trying to wait, let the guy come back. Pretty sure all these players would do the same. And some good sportsmanship. Good to see. A lot of these guys know each other, but either way, playing for big money, not fun if you get disconnected. You know that feeling. We've all done it. We've all had aces. The internet goes out. Not ideal. So a little bit of time. Everyone taking a little bit of time. Scott Ball, where are you? $1 million bounty winner. Well, now things change. Butterfly effect. Queen Jack opens. 8-6 calls. See a really not an attractive flop for Sergio. 8-6 off. This should go. You see players mix this small bet or check. Although on this board, don't expect that he would get check raised very much on the ace queen 9, right? So this is something that you start thinking about. It's like, all right, well, what about if he has jack 10? What if he has club draw? Maybe I do want to bet. And let's see. I think this is a mixed strategy where Ben is going to sometimes check, sometimes bet. Okay, so we do see a bet and a takedown. Okay, so Jack 4 suited Ben definitely gotten saucy. You can see he's got the chip lead tied. And he is going to go ahead and open it up. Queen 6 off, Bruno. Definitely going to be looking to play aggressive, but this is not the hand. Don't have to play every one. Going to give it up. And Nike in the big line at the 10-4 off. Roger that. Going to give it up. Okay, so Bruno deuce seven, worst hand in poker. Sergio with a healthy stack. Does he want to raise into the small blind that could jam? I guess he decides that that player is just going to be very selective. We saw him open fold threes, I believe in the cutoff or hijack. Maybe it was a hijack as the shortest stack, one of the shortest. So this is something Sergio may be aware of, has some history with the player, and this is a close hand. Definitely not a mandatory open in this situation, but he does take it down. Very nicely done. Spades, ace, queen off. All right, good news, bad news. Good news, Scott Ball's on the way. Bad news for Scott, he's on the way, and he is going to be joining us. So he's going to get to his room, and we will be having Scott. 30,000 less than he originally had. I guess he's out of that tournament. We'll let him tell the $1 million bounty. And yeah, we're going to get that. Ace, queen, 6-4. Look at this. Good spot for Elis with the best hand. Can he fade the river? And, ooh, it is pink. Oh, my goodness. I thought it was a jack. Is it a king? I thought it was a jack. I thought it was a queen. It's a king. Safe. Would have been a tough way to go on the river. But as it stands, that's a double up. That is a double up. Ace 4, king 10. Under the gun. Does he just, how saucy is Benjamin feeling today? That is a little out of line. I gotta say, my man is really, he's going for it, putting it up. Sergio with the ace 3 suited. This is one of those things where if you think players are going to take hands that are good 3-bet candidates and take the spots, it makes it harder to open. If you think players will not, it's a little easier. And Sergio, I think, seeing and feeling and knowing Ben, knows that he does open fairly wide. At least he has today. Let's see if he's going to go for it and kick it up. He doesn't do it, and this works out well for Ben. Those are huge pots to pick up. Okay. Ace king suited, tier 1. Nike looking for action, doesn't get it. Well, Scott Ball, we're going to get him situated with the instructions. Appreciate you guys being here. We appreciate the patience. I know, listen, I've streamed a lot in my life on Twitch, so happy to carry a show, but it's always more fun with the guests. Always more fun to have $1 million guest as well. So that is a $1 million winner off of a $200 buy-in. He is coming in here very shortly. Okay, sevens, king 3 suited. This is a spicy flop. I mean, look at this. Definitely one of those things that this pot could get escalated. If you're Ben, though, you don't really want to. You got kind of a cool hand, right? You might have the best hand. You have a very strong draw. Don't see any reason to blow up this pot. Do not see a reason to go for a big raise. And now even picks up more equity. Of course, the deuce would make a straight. He's got to believe he still has the best hand a lot of the time. So expect him to still go and check call formation. All right. Well, sevens do have the best hand. And if you are Bruno now, you do check back. And Ben has still king high, decides that maybe he has the best hand, maybe just doesn't want to bluff, decides to preserve his stack. And 2-7s, very hard to value bet here. Don't think he is. But at the same time, you do target now a 5x. There are some hands you could get called by, maybe a king high. So let's see, Bruno, so talented, willing to take thin edges. Let's see if he does try to extract a bit of value here. Does feel thin though. Go for like, okay, 260. And Ben with the hearts though, not great to have the hearts as a bluff combination miss, but 6-7 misses. He doesn't have a 6, 7, or 8 in his hand. This is probably pretty close to hero calling, but the hearts is not great to have. Let's see what Ben comes up with. Again, I just feel like a theme of the Super Millions in these spots. When there's a big decision on the river, the players just seem to get it right more often than not. Nice discipline there. Doesn't look like an incredible fold, but I'm sure you see players make that call. And if you call, you better be right. And I'll tell you, if you come in this pot, you better have something, because my man has got aces. Hand rank 1, the Rockets in the big blind, and Ramiro going to open surely ace-5 suited. This could be a hand where, he limps. Wow. So that's interesting. All right. Well, this is the good news. Bruno's really showing me some moxie in the small blind, limping in, playing a little bit extra. I guess for the limp, it's not crazy, but now Sergio going to squeeze it up. And ace-5 suited, does he ever have a limp raise off of the squeeze? This is where a hand, ace-5 suited, you say 30% against any hand but aces. Guy happens to have aces. And this would be a timely misstep if he makes it 740 or 680, right? Like a small click against a player that is going to definitely be capable of having some bluffs here. So look at this. He does do just that. He does go for that 735, decides that he's going to limp and put that into his limp re-raise. And if you're Sergio, could be a good time just to click call. Let's see if he can come up with that. I mean, it's a small sizing. The actual situation does kind of lead to it. And look at this, the ace, king, queen flop. Hold on, I'm going to add, we're getting Scott on here. And we have got a situation. We got top set. Top set versus top pair. I mean, if you are Ramiro, though, this is very concerning. You got hands like jacks and tens you're beating, but you're crushed against ace queen. Maybe sometimes could your opponent ever have ace king's unlikely, queens are unlikely. So this is actually kind of curious. You actually think you might be against jacks and tens or crushing. What an action card, the club. So Sergio likely going to start getting the money going here. And we might get Scott Ball right now. I'm just not sure if it's going to work right away. We got to do some audio, some settings. He's in the. Oh, he's in. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Let me figure out.
A little loud, but it's looking good. There he is, guys. Can you see? Maybe turn it sideways. Are you on your iPad?
I'm on my phone right now, actually. I literally just was dialing in when I was on my way up to the room. I'll sit down here, though, and turn it.
Okay. Good to see you. Congrats on I've been waiting for you to tell the story, but obviously, Gigi, I knew it was a safe invite after you win $1 million from $200 to come on and be the guest on the Super Millions. I figured, we could take a little extra time for you here, and you wouldn't mind coming and saying hello.
No, I'm happy to be here, man. It's always fun hanging out with you.
Love it. Well, yeah, Scott Ball's been on my podcast multiple times. We are also going to be chatting on the Coin Ribbit podcast, and we are going to be talking some poker with you today as we saw a very interesting hand going down. We're just going to hop you right into action. You may recognize some of these guys: Benjamin Rowley, Ben CB online, Bruno Volkman, I'm sure you battled with online and live, Sergio Ado, guest on the show. Ben's been a guest on the show, and right now Sergio going for a bit of value on the river with top set versus a weak top pair. Very interesting hand here, Scott. We saw a limp with the ace-5 suited. Bruno completed jack-7 off. Sergio squeezed the aces. Ramiro then took his ace-5 suited and re-raised, and we saw just a flat from Sergio. So pretty cool hand and a nice fold in the end from Ramiro. But Sergio, who his birthday was yesterday, shares a birthday with me, is now basically tied for the chip lead. A little birthday run good, Scott, for the man.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's a beast.
He is certainly a beast. He actually was a guest on the show and then won the Hard Rock the next week, that 3,500 one in Seminole. So what do you think about booth magic, Scott? I figure this is also another thing. You're playing a $200,000 buy-in. You're watching some of the best. Some of these guys, we saw Victor, who limitless is down in Cyprus as well competing. So it can't hurt, right, to watch a couple hands face up, maybe play with these guys in the coming days.
No, it's awesome. A lot of those hands like really reflect differently too. Like you actually, the value really pays forward when you actually watch this stuff. It really makes a big difference. People do interesting things live.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, Scott, I gotta first look at this 4-7 off, man. Just on your head, and ace-4 going to call and actually have dominated here. Let's see if ace-4 can hold up. 7-4 makes an aggressive mood, picks up a gut shot. Can he hit on the river? He needs to hit a 7 or a 6, or this will be a nice powerful double up. My man Nike, his name's Nike, and he can do it. Yes, he can. Just do it. Just double. Nike is off to 1.6 million. We saw it go pretty quick, couple knockouts, but all of a sudden stacks have doubled. People have consolidated, and we have got ourselves a tight match going here. But Scott, it looks like you're about to enjoy some food. I appreciate the hustle, but let me, before you take a bite.
I'm actually not trying to enjoy food. I'm trying to actually get the table up on my iPad so I can actually see what's going on. So I'm installing GG on my iPad so I can actually watch. So I have the iPad here. Not gonna eat. I'm hanging out with you, man. I'm just trying to figure out how to get this.
Oh, I thought you were setting the table. You're setting the table for the stream. I love it. My apologies.
No, it's all good, man. I'm here to hang. Sorry, I was behind today.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I wish, like I said, I wish you had won, but you're gonna save the run good for the 200K, and maybe you could tell us a bit about this $1 million bounty. I started to tell a little bit about the story, but could you set the table in that sense for what happened there? What was going on with the $1 million bounty? How did you win from $200 $1 million, and what happened exactly?
Yeah, so it was crazy. It was like the first hand of the tournament, literally, or on day 2 at least, which that's when the bounties start. Someone like 6 big blinds shoved. Another guy tried to get in the mix, and I reshoved ace queen in the small blind and had them both covered. The other guy folds. He has king 7 of clubs. I think we we turned 2 pair, but the turn our 2 pair gave him like a gutter and a flush draw. Obviously, you don't know that was $1 million bounty if he gets there, but like hit a lot of equity. And then he we get him, he's out, and I have a bunch of tables up, and the chest starts to like shake, and it's like, you've got a gold chest, and I'm like, what does that even mean? And it spins or whatever, like shakes and vibrates a bunch and opens up, and then it's like you have like it's rum cake wins, and it says like 1,000,000, but the table was so small I couldn't see the last zero, so I thought it was $1,000. And when that happened, Phil Nagy calls me a few minutes later, and he's like, dude, did you just win $1 million? I'm like, no, I won 1,000. He's like, Scott, you won $1 million. I was like, no, it's just 1,000. Trust me. And he's like, look at your balance. Because when I play, I keep my balance hidden. I think that everyone should do that for the most part, really. It just makes me play better. And sure enough, I unhide my balance, and I found out I won $1 million. I didn't even know for like 5 minutes.
That is honestly, that's just too much. I mean, what can you describe the feeling? Because you were player of the year at WSOP in the no limit section the prior year. You've won 2 bracelets, and you've had some joyous moments in your life. Where does this stand out to actually just get $1 million from a 200 buy-in on the first hand of a day 2 when you're in the money? Like what did you do? How did you handle it? Because I don't know. I can't even think about. I don't even know that. It's hard to imagine.
It was pretty. It was interesting, to be honest with you. It was actually like kind of overwhelming. I really, to kind of add to this a little bit, like I started playing tournaments or really studying tournaments not that long ago, like basically during COVID. And I just decided I really wanted to learn how to play them and try to get competent. So I'm like in fields that I belong in and can do well. And I had I think 60K in scores or something going into the World Series of Poker that I won 2 bracelets and stuff as all in terms of live scores. So I ended up making it was 1.6 million in cashes or something in 11 months. And this is a bounty, so it doesn't really count towards cashes or whatever. It's definitely just winning the lottery and incredibly lucky. But for me, it was kind of a big deal because I remember when the World Series ended, I was like, dang, I'm not going to get that 2 million mark in 12 months of poker. I thought that'd be a cool milestone at 2 million in cashes in 1 year. And then obviously just being $1 million bounty the month I needed to do it. So it was just so unreal lucky, man.
Yeah. It's so you actually won more than anyone in the tournament. I mean, that was first prize basically,
Yeah.
right? Because I did the final table with Ali. We called action. I think the biggest final table bounty remaining was 16,000, and I think first was like 350 or 380. So I don't think anyone won more than like 450. So you actually won double, I think, what the next person won by.
It was pretty funny too. Like I stopped playing all the other tables and was like, well, I should still like play this because there's still a lot of money up top. And I got like 3 or 4 more bounties, and they were all min bounties. And I was like, man, I'm just so unlucky. Like jokingly, not serious. I thought it was really funny. Then like the next day, I like lost like some huge coolers and some pretty big spots, and I was just like, man, just so unlucky this week. What a rough week, man.
I've seen that before with some main event champions that talk about that, or actually legitimately, I don't want to name names, but I've heard them complain. So I just feel like if you hit that, or you win the main event, like it's hard to ever really complain. But I guess it's in all of us, right? You just want to win, you want to be competitive, you always want to do your best, and it's easy to forget, right? You remember your biggest losses, you rarely remember your biggest wins, but I think it's safe to say you won't forget that one. That $1 million is special.
And I don't actually get tilted or like frustrated. I think I'm incredibly lucky in life. I mean, just to be able to do what I'm doing right now shows how lucky I am, really, right? I'm here playing Triton, playing these crazy big buy-ins because I can. That's like really, really fortunate. So I joke around about it, but I never mean it to be a bit serious, because obviously I'm running really good in life. So I'm trying to download the app on my iPad that's telling me they need to email me a new link.
That is, let's see.
Do we have anyone we can get a hold of that could send me an iPad link?
Yeah, I'm asking right now in our group chat. All right. Yeah, we'll try to get that over to you. We'll pick up the action right here, blind on blind. This is actually interesting. We've seen in this particular spot a lot of blind on blinds today. This is one of the spots that I feel is one of the areas you can improve most on in poker. And look at that, a tight fold, but again, couple interesting stacks with the ICM decides it doesn't want to come in, and Ben CB is the benefactor of that situation. Sergio Ado not going to play Jack 2 suited, and really, again, no very strong hand. Space with the awkward hand here on this stack size. Suited ace, do you just rip it in? I don't really see many other plays here. Ace 2 suited, although, again, the ICM is significant. He is going to go ahead and shove, and should get it through. I can't see Ben deciding to put in call off with ace 4 off. So nicely done from space 411. And it looks like, Scott, we're going to try to get you a link so you can follow along. You see that Discord chat, correct?
I'm trying to go right now.
And
okay. I got that. My bad. Sorry, I was trying to find it, see if I can download it on my iPad or my phone too, but that didn't work either. I'll keep my phone here like this.
No worries. Yeah. Well, we're going to try to get that link for you. And in the meantime, we are still 7-handed, and the payouts are at the lower right of your screen, 325. Scott, we usually do a dinner bet, a snake draft. I guess we could still do it. I already gave the audience 2 players to root for. Bruno Volkman, who's sitting out at the moment. It looks like disconnected, and Benjamin Raleigh.
He's actually here at Triton.
Yeah.
I met him last night. Super nice guy.
Yep. Yeah, he played the last stop at Madrid. I know he made the final table, the main event, and he is someone who's had a lot of success on and off the live and online streets. One of the more talented Brazilian players, and really just overall in the world, definitely one of the best. So it's fun to watch him. He was a big stack, and now internet connection. Scott, how's the internet over there? Maybe he's having a bit of technical difficulty. Are you in the new tower there at Cyprus?
Yeah. The internet's been great. This hotel is awesome. Like everything here, the way it's set up, it's incredible. It's like nothing I've experienced before. In terms of the service that the team provides, and just the food, everything, like it's just so cool.
Yeah, it's I've had a great experience. I've gone to Cyprus many times. I did see the hotel was being finished. I walked through the ballroom when it was under construction, but I did not see the final product. So I'm excited. I'll land there tomorrow. So look forward to that. We'll have to catch up, but we could do a snake draft if you want. We could do a dinner, like a nice dinner bet on players if you're up for it. If not, all good. I already got the audience situated, but if you want to do a little draft for,
I'm always up for a bet. That's fun.
Okay, we'll do it. So how about this? You choose red or black, and then we'll do a snake draft. 1, 1, 2, 2, Let's see, 1, 2, 2, 1. Yeah, we'll go like that. So you choose red or black for the next flop.
Red.
Okay, red has been called. We might get to see a flop here. Looks like the stacks are, well, I guess this will go min raise, or he actually goes 3x. What do you like here, Scott? Jack, queen, the big blind, or you can't see the actual action yet?
I can't see. I'm trying to get to it right now. I'm getting instructions. I'm just trying to figure out how to click this participant screen. Can I do this?
All right. Well, I'll tell you guys, this is a very interesting spot on the 3x. Elis Parsinian is going to decide if he's going to play for a call. I don't think shoving makes a ton of sense as he is basically got no fold equity. So I imagine this will be a fold or a call. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to shove when you expect to get called for that size and you have queen high. So let's see what he goes with. I like the 3x here. Very interesting by Nike, and he does actually force a fold.
Is it a blind versus blind hand?
It was button raised 3x, and the big blind had like 9 blinds and queen jack off. So it's kind of tough, but ultimately went with the fold.
I think I'm starting to see a lot more of that now, actually, and it actually makes a lot of sense. It just puts you in a position where like makes it easier to just click the call button when they put in whatever they have in, and it's very clear that you're going to call and you're not folding. I think we'll see when people start exploiting that, but it seems really strong right now, actually, to size up into those smaller stacks.
Yep, and Benjamin Raleigh, also a very strong player, very strong hand. 2 kings, picks it up, and he is currently the chip leader significantly with our Bruno sitting out. So Bruno, his stack, can't see the chips, but I know he's around the chip lead himself. But Benjamin Raleigh is currently in the driver's seat with 3.8 million, and no one really, basically double all other players other than Bruno, who is sitting out.
And man, that stinks that he's sitting out.
Yeah, I mean,
what a spot.
I'm sure he's at the venue. Sure, I'll find the internet here shortly, but yeah, he's definitely missing some equity right now. And we see Queen Jack shove it in versus Ben, who has 10-4 suited. Well, how about Ebony Kenny coming in teamed up with Phil Nagy, and she was chip leader at the final table, and I saw her get like a 240 or 60K score right away. Did you get to see her? Is she pumped up?
Yeah, she's super pumped up. That was her biggest. The min cash was actually her biggest score ever, and then she laddered off. And she's also like had. At the last break, she had a pile of chips in the 30K that I just played too with like 40 left.
Yeah.
So she was doing well in something else too right now. She's crushing. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's, if you think about coming in, the pressure, right? It's like I'm going to play 200K, get warmed up, play a couple other things. Takes away a lot of that pressure when you get a final table, you get a huge score, career score, you play with a lot of the same people and you just feel confident. So really happy for her, and who knows, right? The 200K, she's got a little extra pep in her step. Let's see if you guys can make a run there. What's the biggest buy-in you've ever played?
100K.
So
I played 100K in the last World Series. This will be my biggest buy-in.
Very sick, very sick. And I'll tell you right now, I'll call to action since you at the moment can't see it, but we did see a limp with 10s, and the 1 over card comes, and Bruno happens to have that. So good timing for Bruno. He comes back, flops 2 pair, the missionary top and bottom, and Ben, who has got a very interesting hand, he blocks the straight. He's got 2 10s on Jack 7-8, turn ace, does decide to get away. Bruno goes for that big sizing and shakes Ben, but he did have the best hand, so he wasn't looking to shake Ben, but a disciplined fold again for Mr. Raleigh, and there he is, tied with Bruno Volkmann for the chip lead. Those are your 2 guys to get for the bonus, $100 if we see one of those 2 players win. It'll be 50 if someone else does. We got to get the 200 thumbs up. We see 83 so far. Welcome in. 720. Scott Ball joins along. I'm Jeff Gross, your host, and we are trying to get Scott caught up on the chat. He is a sport to come on the show. I know on the road he didn't have his main setup by any means, so he's trying to mobily come in. But it just felt right. He won the $1 million on GG in the mystery bounty, and he's playing the 200K at Cyprus. So I don't think there's a more qualified guest in the world right now, Scott, and I know you get free time. What time is it there in Cyprus?
It's 11 p.m. It's about to be 11, which isn't bad actually. It's actually good that I'm doing this because now I'm just in the room and relaxing, and like when this is all over, I can go to bed and get a good night's sleep before the 50K tomorrow.
Yeah, tell me about a series like this. How do you prepare? Do you map out exactly what events you play, or do you come and just sort of see how you feel other than the 200K? How do you sort of gauge rest versus just trying to play as much as possible?
So I just am not letting myself play any cash right now. Like no matter what the game is or whatever, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to play these tournaments and go through there. And I actually took almost a full week off prior to coming here. And when I say almost a full week off, it was more like I just studied. I didn't play a single hand of poker though, because the biggest thing is I want to be like excited to play and like very motivated. So I took some time off and just studied. And then I studied some more, like kind of like some specific spots that I seem to be handled quite a bit different. Like we are just talking about that larger opening size and stuff. Like that was something I started seeing more recently. You know, so things like that.
Yeah, I will say the openings. Oh wow, here we go. Ace King to Queens. Before we got it. This is for a potential chip lead pot. 3.4 million. Queens are ahead after the flop. The turn is still the case. 86% going to a river. It is a 6. Sergio Ado, the birthday man, not going to be. And we have got a new chip leader. Nike Emilio is your chip leader with 3.9 million chips. This is quite a development for everyone involved, including you, chat, because you are rooting for the two guys, Benjamin Raleigh and Volkman, for a double for 100 versus 50. But Nike now is in contention, and we are down to 6 players. Everyone guaranteed 94,000. And Elis Parisian has got that same situation, a little different though, because it's an early position raise versus the button raise, but it's a min raise. He does call Queen Jack, and he is critically short at the moment. So let's see what he comes up with here. Ace-6 still the best hand, and Ben gonna bet it. And yeah, this is uncomfortable for Elis. Kind of realizes too, there's a chance he has the best hand. He's got backdoor straight, backdoor flush, but he really doesn't have much maneuverability. Can he ever peel one off here for 80? He does, and he picks up a spade, although he has a second nut flush draw. Ace-6 with the ace of spades does turn a pair, and then the nut flush draw on a paired board. So Elis now, does he ever start leading here? Does he want to get creative and bet like 90 or 100K, try to price himself into a river, maybe get some folds? No, he does check. And he misses his hand. So 580 in the middle, 290 there. Ace-6 misses. Potential here for a bluff. Although Queen Jack high, I mean, it's kind of a bad river, right? There are chances your opponent could have like a 10 high, and now you're not beating that. But let's see if he's going to go try to bet. Maybe make an ace high to fold. Let's see what he does. He also does have some flushes, so he does shove it in. Wow. Scott, I know you can't see, but this is a pretty sick hand, and Ben has got ace high in the river. Going to be put in a tough spot. Very nice hand, and there's a little bit of a glimpse into why this player from Finland, Elis Parisian, is so dangerous, so talented, finds a way with the best hand on a short stack to get to a river and be creatively winning a pot. Oh, and I missed the thing, Scott. You got the first pick. Missed the flop at the chat. Let me know. And yeah,
who's chip leading?
So Benjamin Raleigh and Bruno Volkman are essentially tied. Benjamin slightly more.
I'll take Volkman because I met him yesterday and he was awesome.
Okay, I'll take Ben CB happily as well, and I will get another pick. I'll go with the chips. Nike, Maiho. You go for 2.
I don't even know what people are in it already.
All right, I'm gonna assign you by chips. So you'll get Ramiro, Patron, and Space 411, and then I'll take Elis, the short stack Parzanian. So I'll remind you who you got. You got to trust me. It's gonna be a nice dinner, Scott. Might even be a destination dinner. It might be like a fly in. Nice. Yeah, that makes it a little more meat on the bone. But we'll say a dinner destination up to TBD. But right now we got 6 players left. I got 3, you got 3, and we've got another walk from Mr. Benjamin Raleigh. Tell me about what
I'm trying to switch devices right now. If this works, hopefully I can see the cards. I'm waiting to be let into the call now.
Perfect. So he's waiting.
I apologize for not being organized. I literally just busted this tournament and came straight up here, and I busted it in kind of epic fashion too.
Well, how you said this is a 30K turbo?
Yeah. 30K 6max turbo pretty much.
Damn. Not how was the turnout? How many? You got a lot, right? Like 100 or something? Or
Like 123 runners or something. It was crazy.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's amazing turnout over there. Well, we see a couple of playable hands here. So we see sixes open. Ace-8 suited is going to take a stand. And this is not an easy call with sixes. You're going to be dominated sometimes. There's my son coming to say hello. We see the action, and we are going to see Ramiro has got a decision here. We got a decision for Ramiro. What do you think, Scott? It's a min raise to 160, a shove for 800 from Elis, and Ramiro's got sixes. He's got to call off about 640, 630 more. He would then be tied for about the shortest stack. I think he might find a call here, although this is definitely close. Scott, I want your mind. You're locked into the no limit. You've been studying. You're in the zone, and we can't even get you. Maybe pull up the chat. Maybe pull it up. I think it's on a slight delay on the thing, but not much delay. You might be able to still see it on your device.
You know, that's actually not a bad idea if this doesn't work. He says they see me, though. I just need to be let in on the iPad. The iPad thing might work. There's a button that just doesn't exist on the iPhone.
Well,
please wait.
Yeah, Ramiro is in the chat right now. I'm sorry, he's in the tank. 5 minutes left. You see that chess clock. All players been using their clock a bit. 15 minutes to start. He's down to 5, and he does fold. And Elis getting saucy up to over $1 million. It is a whole new game, anyone's game. And no one with a decent hand here, as we see Space going to fold. Ben 6-3 off. Jack deuce for Bruno. Small blind, big blind, deep stack. Let's see. Bruno going to be limping a lot of the range. Looks like we're going to lose Scott on a disconnect on the phone. They're going to disconnect.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry, I'm trying. Yeah, I need to disconnect the phone. Do I disconnect from the phone and then do that?
Yeah. So I think they're going to disconnect you from the phone, and then we should have you
okay.
on.
I'm going to get off here and try that.
Perfect. All right. Well, that's Scott Ball, guys. That is your $1 million bounty winner on GG last week, and he is going to be joining the commentary here as Bruno Limson, Jack deuce off, gets to see a flop, and we've got pair versus pair, and Nike. Not a very exciting board for his hand. May just want to check back here. And Scott is almost live. I hear him.
I'm here almost. And hold on. And I can see the screen. I can see. I need to select this. Man, yes. We're making progress. We're moving on up.
You can see stuff, right. and we can.
You can see me now, but I need to flip this for you. We'll go this way, actually. It'll be easier.
There we go.
And then I need to somehow click his camera and make it big. If I can do that, we're in there.
Making moves. Things are happening. Technology's fun.
Progress.
Getting it done.
I can see it's just very small. I need to maximize his camera. Once I can figure out how to maximize this on the screen, I'm good.
Yeah, we see Bruno with the blocker bet here on the river, and I think Nike got all options. Could fold, could raise, could call. Calling doesn't feel great, and he does ultimately go with the raise. And Bruno with this top pair, I mean, doesn't beat anything really here. So nice raise. Well done. Very nice hands. Very nice hand. We are down to 6, and we have got a min raise on the button, Jack 10 off. Nike going to fold, and deuce 5 for Ramiro. Patron, are you familiar with that guy? Who are these players do you know, Scott? Bruno, you know. Benjamin, you're aware of. Do you know Elis Parzinian, who I'm pronouncing wrong? I apologize. So he probably played with him at the World Series. He's played one of the crushers in PLO, part of Yoni's crew, and very strong player. So you may have ran into him or seen him before. And Ramiro Patron, also a very tough player, I believe, from Uruguay as well. So I'm familiar with those 4, and the other 2 are unknowns.
Yeah, I'm really only familiar with two of them, not the rest of them, which is actually kind of cool. This tournament has a lot of the same faces a lot for obvious reasons. Small field, all the beasts play it every weekend. It's a very hard tournament, man. This tournament has eaten me alive.
Yeah, it's definitely can be pretty tough. We've got a we've
Oh my
got
gosh,
our
I figured it out. We're good.
all right. We got Scott for the commentary now. He can see the cards, he can see the action, he can see ace four suited, ace three suited, this ace three offsuit. This is likely just going to go ram, and this is actually close, right? The ace three off. This guy's face is shown very cognizant of ICM, but he decides just going to take the edge. Likely has the best hand. They do have a lot of chop opportunities. That is certainly looking like a chop, and then it's not.
Wow.
Scott, and then it's not. It is, and it's not.
So now that I can see the names, actually, I am familiar with Space. I played with him quite a bit. He's very good, actually. Very aggressive.
Well,
very aggressive.
That's
such a gut. So brutal to like get this far in a tournament and then just like
it is.
Tournament poker is so painful, man.
It is. How do you deal with variance? Because you've obviously had some amazing success winning, like I mentioned, the WSOP Player of the Year last year. And then, of course, that's hard to live up to that hype. It's sort of like an Olympian I look at where I'm like, when you have like it's so hard to get back or have those type of results when you win a bracelet or such. So have you found yourself having difficulty to live up to those? Do you feeling like, wow, do you feel like it helps you or hurts you in some ways? You're like, all right, I expect to win, but that doesn't happen every time. As we know, playing tournaments, you basically lose for a living, right? Even if you cash, it's like you're not winning or taking first. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, honestly, this has been like a big thing I've adjusted in the past like 9 months to 12 months is I used to like kind of like care a lot about what everyone else was doing and what everyone else thought kind of, and like where, like how they were playing or all this random stuff and what are they studying, what are they doing. And I kind of realized that like the best thing I can do is just to focus on myself and like I know how to study the things that I know I need to study, make sure I have good information and not really worry about what everyone else is doing and kind of set my own standard and my own bar for myself personally. And well, got there.
Wow.
And that's helped me a lot. And when it comes to variance, I just remind myself constantly how lucky I am, like in life. Like I literally just played a really kind of a crazy pot a few minutes ago to bust a 30K and just came right up here and I'm in a great mood. And it just doesn't bother me because I get to play these tournaments of Triton. And I'm like, life is so good. I just don't get to complain. And I just keep everything in perspective now. Much better than I used to. It used to drive me nuts.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think that is actually one of the most desirable attributes as a poker player, right? It's like who is able to take those beats, and you can kind of feel it, right? You can see it at table when a guy loses how they act. You can hide it. You can't really hide it, right? If you're like really hurt by it, or it rubs you the wrong way, maybe there's some other stuff going on, or maybe it's just like higher than you want to be playing, or you're on comfort zone. But like that is something I think that it's noticeable when someone handles beats really well and just kind of moves on or gets knocked out of a tournament. But that's something more common in the high roller scene, right? You see guys, you don't really see people like flaming out, tilting, and
I would also say that I don't think the people that are flaming out, tilting are winning. Like not necessarily like even like long term, like they could be good. I think you have to get over that aspect, that mental side of the game in order to be a successful poker player. So when I see people tilting like that or getting mad, I'm just like, this is great. I'm glad they're there.
Yeah. I'm working. Yes. I love you, buddy.
You have a show?
A show, yeah.
I don't see a show.
I'll show you in a little bit. Okay. He loves asking, are you working? Yeah, he loves to work. He's a hard worker. That's my son popping to say hello. That's Joseph, 3 years old. And I can tell you playing tournament poker with kids, it definitely affects it a bit, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. And we will just pick up the action here. Ace four, 2 kings and 8s, and nice spot for Ramiro on this board with 2 kings. He has the best hand and slips it over to Ben, who definitely could do some protection betting.
Yeah, I mean this pot's going to grow for sure. It's going to get bigger. This is such a good flop for kings here.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, this is one of those spots where Ramiro, he realizes he also has a king of diamonds, a relevant card. Thinking about like some maybe hands he'd be worried about would be some flushes, flush draws like queen jack suited. He blocks some of those king queen, king 10 suited. So let's see if he goes with a check raise or check call. Obviously, a lot of money out there. Important stage of the tournament. What do you like here, Scott?
So it depends on his thought process on the hand. Like sometimes in spots, I'll make a decision on a flop where like, hey, like I'm just like I have two aces and I'm just never folding. Whatever card comes next doesn't matter on the call. Like nothing's changing or something along those lines. So when I take that mentality, I like calling and letting our opponent put more money in the pot. Raising's always also totally fine. It just kind of depends on what his approach is going to be on later streets, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, here the stack to pot ratio less than 1, right? 1.4 and 1 million. It's interesting because a lot of options available. The board just got even more dicey. I guess he's going to eliminate a lot necessarily like heart draws, like overs and hearts. It's going to flat, but now.
So this is kind of interesting. This would actually, you can do a lot of like weird sizings here. Like this is obviously it's tempting just go for all of it here every time, but this is a cool spot to like 10% to induce, although Benjamin Roll is not going to like punt for no reason, or maybe even check like this just to like allow him to try to get value from a hand like Ace. But
well, I can tell you what, Ben got pretty fortunate there to only lose that many chips on that run out, because that definitely could have been a bigger pot and he could have had a harder time. But of course, with the whole card's face up, it's easier to kind of look and maneuver when you're in the moment. I'd say in a lot of ways, fairly standard hand, but Ramiro is going to be up to 2.4 million. And you don't know who you have, Scott, for our bet, do you?
No.
Okay. So you got Bruno, I got Ben, then you got, let's see, I got two, I got Nike, and then you got Space. I'm sorry. Then you got Ramiro and Space, and I have Elis. So you have 3, I have 3 remaining. So we'll have a nice friendly dinner wager. And tell me about the 200K. How did you choose your partner? You're a businessman. You're like a hybrid. You're not really like a full businessman, but you are classified as a businessman. How did you get teamed up with your partner?
Chris Brewer's just been a really like great guy since I've met him. He's been very, very friendly and just always been very positive. We didn't know each other back then, but we actually graduated from the same high school. I'm just way older than he is. But he was like at the same school that my sister was when she was there, which is kind of cool. So it makes a good backstory. And I like the way he studies and thinks about the game. And obviously when you invite someone to something like this, they're going to give you some support and help you kind of develop yourself a bit. So he's just someone I just decided I wanted to work with for sure. And if I could, kind of like grow a bit. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I know he's a very talented player as well, so that'll be fun. And to maybe just let people know about how that works. It's not like a tag team event. Just explain a bit of the pro amateur dynamic, a businessman call it. How does this work? And I know it's a $200,000 buy-in with 1 reentry available, but you guys are not officially connected. You have an option to buy or be a part of each other, but you're just kind of like it pairs the tournament. If you could explain the format a little more.
Yeah. So the way it works is there's 32 quote unquote businessmen, and then there's 32 pros. A pro has to be invited by one of the businessmen or they can't get a seat. It's not an open tournament. And the businessmen get invited by, I believe it was Paul Fool, Rob Young, and Jason Kuhn voting on who was businessman and accepted and who wasn't. And yeah, once you're picked as a businessman, then there was I guess a kind of a list of people that wanted to play and pros that wanted to play. The interesting thing is there's a lot of leverage for the businessmen in this with their like quote unquote pro, because they can't get in if they don't get invited, right? So at the end of the day, like some people I think were like straight up buying the seats, like paying the businessman money for an invite, almost like just paying more rake. Some people were doing swaps, and some people were buying large pieces of them, like saying, okay, I'll invite you, but I'm going to have 70% of your action or whatever it is, things like that. I did a very different approach, and I just said, hey man, I just want to study some. I don't need to buy an overly big piece, and we swapped. but the swap wasn't anything insane because I know when you play for a living, this is
got a
8-3.
Got a all in. What an action flop.
The old 8-3.
8-3. Oh my goodness.
turn.
That is spicy right there. And it is a clean river for our friend. Is a double up at 230K. Scott, chip in a chair. I'm sure you've had some times we've run up from small stacks. We've seen it happen before. This does happen. So it is still in. Everyone wants to see a knockout. Everyone wants to see a ladder, but it won't be the case right then. So sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
No, it's all good. So we swapped, and I wanted whoever I invited to be able to keep their action the way they normally keep it. Obviously, like most of these pros playing super high rollers, or not most of them, I shouldn't say that, but a lot of them have backers or people that always buy pieces or whatever. I didn't want to like them, the people that always support them, to like lose out on the spot, because obviously it's going to be a great tournament. It's pretty incredible if there's going to be 32 recreational-ish people in half the field's going to be recreational-ish. It's crazy. Oh, and the other big thing is that the businessmen play together for the first 8 levels, which is like 80% of day one, I think. And then the fields combine, and you can't get moved to a table with your invite until there's only 2 tables left.
Right.
So they keep you separate from your invite until there's 2 tables left.
Yeah, it's cool.
And that's a huge thing. You also have to start on time. You can't late reg it because they didn't want pros up. The pros obviously have a huge disadvantage for the first 8 levels to just be playing each other. So they would be very incentivized to just max late reg and not do that. But they can't do that in this one.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's very interesting. Similar to the $1 Million Triton event back in July of 2019. This is very similar where it's the same format, 200,000 instead of $1 million, and there's actually a reentry. So I don't know, call it 300K. This is roughly maybe something like that, 250. I don't know how many people will rebuy. I imagine many, if they come all that way and they're there to play, businessmen for sure. But you never know, right? Some people will.
I don't think
won't. Yeah.
I can't imagine there's like maybe anyone in the field that's not ready to rebuy if they bust early. Right. I'm very strict with myself about when I rebuy and stack sizes and stuff, but I'm just going to treat it like any other tournament. And if I bust and I have enough big blinds that I can still have in front of me, I'm just going to get back in the mix.
Yeah, I think that's the determining factor. Maybe some people won't if it's the last 30 minutes or hour before and you're kind of shorter, but if it's relatively reasonable and there's still plenty of play, I think we will see that. We are going to pick up the action here. Queen 9 off versus queens. Ramiro with a very nice hand. Although this board looks a little scary versus a big blind defend. Let's see if Ben's got some tricks up his sleeve as played. He's going to check, and Ramiro, got to believe there's a lot of hands you want to protect against and bet. The board is a bit scary, but ultimately 420 in the middle. You got to imagine he's going to be betting here, Scott. If he doesn't, interesting. Scary board for sure versus the big blind range.
I'm really interested what Benjamin does here because, like, you don't have showdown and, like, this board is so good for us. Wow.
Checks it over, and now Ramiro, who decided not to bet the turn. The diamonds backdoor come through, although that shouldn't be a big concern. 7 pairs. I don't know. I mean, this feels like a spot that you'd likely see a bet. He does go for, I think, sizing. It's so interesting to see the sizing, and that's something I'm sure you've been working on a lot. You said you've been studying lately, Scott, is finding some spots for over bets or big bet percentages. And I think it's just interesting to note at home, it matters so much, right? If you're in a spot in a hand where you could get a 90% or 150% bet that a person's going to call and you bet 60, right? That's a lot of chips. That's a lot of EV. How do you approach studying sizings and how to kind of look at examples on where to exploit big sizings and how do you study that?
It's actually kind of a really complicated thing to study, but there's there's some generalizations that you can make to get started with it. Like, for example, if you have the nuts or are blocking the absolute nuts, it's kind of appropriate to go huge and like 2x pot in lots of situations and stuff, because you have to have, if you're ever going to have a hand that does it for value, you have to have a hand that does it for bluff. So blocking the absolute nuts is like what you want, kind of a general thing that makes it okay. Also, like, just like overall, like, pure range advantages. Like if you're in, the small blind or I'm sorry, if you defend your big blind to an early position open and the flop comes like 5, 6, 7 or 4, 5, 6, you get to do a lot of like big leading potentially in spots with certain hands here, and then just kind of fire away and get big bets on the river end because the texture is so good for you and so bad for your opponent. This is probably a hand here actually.
Yeah, this is. Wait,
he just folded sevens.
Wait, no, is that eights? Hold on.
I think he just folded sevens.
Oh, no, sevens. He just open folded sevens in the cutoff. 40-80 with 20 bigs. That is insane.
I like how I'm like, oh, I know this guy. He's very aggressive. And then I watch him open fold sevens off 21 bigs at the final table. Maybe he just thinks I suck and is trying to run me over. Then I don't know. It's quite the fold.
What was that though? I mean, that can't be even in the. I mean, is that
a misclick? Maybe like literally, is it a misclick?
I doubt it. I've seen him open. He's folded a couple tight spots before, but I don't know.
But that was seven. That's like that's so pure. Like I don't like solver is. It's like 0% open folding. Everyone folded too. I just.
Yeah, that was definitely a bit wild. But as the case, he's gonna save some chips, and Nike actually does flop the king 8 and gets a card where one of the best cards, of course, in the deck. I mean, now if you have queens and the guy, there's another king pairs. Let's see if he can get what kind of sizing he can go. It's going to be a tough ask to fold for Ben, right? I mean, you don't have a 5 or 6. The big blind defends. The king is only over and now pairs on the river. I think Nike could get a healthy bet in here. It'd be really hard fold for Ben.
Yeah, I think you should take a fairly big sizing here too. A lot of the time, blocking is also like pretty appropriate. It's basically what we get. A bit bigger, small size.
It goes about a third pot. No way Ben can fold for that size. So gonna be a chip up for Nike, and he is. I've never met anyone named Nike. That's
pretty amazing name.
Yeah, it's your chip leader. That's who it is. He's got the chip lead. He is off and running 4 million. We did mention some of the players and their results. A lot of players have not won an event at the Super Millions. Bruno has done so, and Bruno's got the A6 off for a little less than a min raise, 140,000. There are players behind, but he is going to go ahead and isolate. Figures just has the best hand. There's some extra money in the middle, and as it plays, he is dominated, but pretty standard. Totally standard,
yeah. The other thing on sizings, by the way, we were just kind of talking about is if you actually look at a lot of spots, there's like the solvers are using lots of different sizings and different frequencies, right? So really, the only way you can like actually kind of screw up a size in a hand is if you like study it and you realize the solver never picks your size ever. So there's like lots of options and opponent specific stuff, and yeah, like I'm not going to get specifics, but there's definitely people that I've made. I've done some prep work for Triton. There's definitely certain people that I'll do different things with versus based off what they do in the past.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. And look at this, kings to queens. Don't call it a comeback, Scott. This is a 4-1. All of a sudden, can he make I think he was down to 20,000, and now he's 4.55% to fade away from being back in the game. It's always hard, the last card, but he does it, and it is not over till it's over. Not out of it now. 500,000, 40 chips. I mean, the blinds are at 80K, so plenty of play here. Enough to stay active.
It's actually, like a 30K ladder too, right?
It's getting big. Yeah, 94 to 121.
That's a lot, man.
It's a lot of buy-ins. It's a lot of green, and it's still on. The blinds are up though, so 50, 100. He's gonna have about 5 big blinds getting the button. Plenty of chips, and here we see Queen 7 suit, a lot of clubs versus King Jack suit. Space been playing very ABC. Ben has actually been opening up a lot under the gun, and this is a bit of a tricky spot for King Jack. How much can he really hold on here in this spot with the ICM?
Yeah.
The EOS is
I mean,
short.
ICM is super important and all that, but like sometimes you just gotta like play your cards. Because like you can allow yourself to get ran over, and you can also like just not put yourself in a position to win the tournament. So there's like a fine line there that we have to balance. And I think that Spazie's being like the extreme ICM aware, which is probably actually probably cost, like in this situation would cost him a lot of money. Like we just let Queen 7 win there when if we just like rip 20 bigs, which is like pretty freaking standard. I mean, without ICM, obviously, King Jack suited, like we just win that pot every time. They just never call.
Yep. Well said. And look at this. Ace deuce off is going to likely get it through. It's 3.6 more blinds for Ben. 5 deuce suited. Actually dominated. Starts getting in the realm of almost any two calling in the big blind, but 5 deuce suited. This is
That's my last hand. Dude, the emotes are so fun.
It is. And he's going to get it through. So up to almost 700K, shows the deuce, and he is officially back in the game right now. Ramiro with the ace king going to open it up here. We are still 6-handed. Welcome all you guys in today. Again, Scott Ball, your latest millionaire officially from a millionaire bounty. We can say he's a millionaire because we know he won $1 million in the bounty tournament. We know that for a fact, so it's safe to say. But again, just got that done in the $215 $10 million guaranteed on GG, and he is in Cyprus playing the live poker. What do you like more now, Scott, live or online?
It depends. Like I really enjoy grinding online because you get so much more volume in, and you really get to study and improve so much faster if you do it right. But I haven't played live in a while, so I'm having fun here, especially playing in these fields where there's so many like the bosses. That makes it so much more enjoyable for me. I like to battle, man. I'm kind of a masochist now. Like I want to play the best and test myself and see where I land and see kind of if I like prove myself, not to anyone else, but just to myself, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is a quite welcoming turn for the Queen Jack. It's got a hammer lock on the hand.
Pretty unreal.
Yeah, it's a nice spot. Let's see what Bruno comes up with. I mean, the opponent doesn't have ace or king of spades, so Bruno gonna go for a big sizing. Look at this guy; he's tricky. He's got bluffs. He's got value. He's got the top house, and who would think you bet that much with the top full house guy? He's just saying, look, let me target. Maybe my opponent has a flush. Can't fold, and a little deception with that sizing, how strong he is, that you would maybe never assume that. So it shows you a little bit in the Bruno's mind, how he approaches hands, sizings, and what he's capable of.
Yeah, that was fascinating, actually. I didn't expect to see it at all. To be honest, I did not expect him to see him go from the spot.
1 second.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, Nike showing a little bit of game.
I like the size too. That's something that you'll see is so different between cash and tournaments. Is like in cash, you just 3-bet out of the blinds like huge because like you just want to win the pot now basically. And in MTTs now, some people are taking these really small sizes based off stack defs. I actually decided not even to study some of that and even try because I think it's so complex when you have like people are 3-betting off of like 17 bigs to like 4.2 big blind and stuff now.
Yeah. This is look at this though. Look at Ben. Just check the temperature, man. I mean, sick. That's sick.
What a boss.
The crazy thing about that is Nike hasn't really been that out of line, It's not like he's been playing crazy, so that's even more impressive for that action there.
People don't talk about this a lot, but like people like Adamo, right, that have just like won everything, guys like Ben Roll that have been around forever, like they're aware of ICM, they understand ICM, but sometimes they just are gonna just like know that everyone cares about the money more than they do, and the result, and just get after it. Like,
well,
yeah. We're gonna go for it.
Yeah, it's true. And there's a double, well, not a double, a knockout for our man Space, who's been playing well, playing patient, does take out our friend who had a joyride up from about a quarter of a blind. Almost got it done, but look at that. That's the resume. Do you recognize this guy, Scott? Maybe you play with him live at the WSOP.
I think I played with him at the World Series actually a little bit.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the
quite a nice guy too, actually.
Yes, that is safe to say. And I'll say we are going to potentially see a collision here. Five-handed tens and ace king suited, Scott. Not really a lot of ways this doesn't get in, or at least we see some chips in the middle here. I mean, this is a small three bet size, but it's also, these are huge hands for five-handed. And actually right now, the stacks are pretty tight. This isn't like huge stack, short stack. So I'm curious with Ben if he's going to, I don't think there's a lot of ways we don't see the money going, but that's a start when they're just a flat, and now we play post flop.
Yeah. I mean, Ben has like right now ICM is like really, really, really heavy. So just like trying to flip there is like kind of insane. But tens are also like really difficult to play post on a lot of flops, like this random queen three deuce, two diamonds, and you have 10 of diamonds. Like if we look at our actual hands, like right now, tens are winning, but the ace king has so much equity, and it's like, and now we have to make decisions, right? One thing that I think is really important that a lot of people don't value enough is like when you're playing an opponent that, like, say theoretically you're playing someone you think is way better than you, you can just like ramp up variance against them and make them have to play higher variance style with you, because that's bad for them. They don't just get to outplay you every hand, right? So it's just like Ben just being like supremely confident, as he should be. He's just a beast.
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting spot. I mean, Nike, if he can unload the clip here, it is going to be hard. How can you really hang on with tens? There's not a lot of stuff you're beating, and this might be enough for Ben, right? This is probably going to be, I would imagine this is going to be into the bin, but Ben is a creative player. He just bluffed him, got him off the same hand, basically, Jack 10, but even the suited folded. This is, I don't envy Ben's spot here, but, you know, ace king is a real candidate of a hand he could have in this situation. Scott, do you see yourself hanging on here for a quarter size spot? Wow.
I would not. I don't think I would have, but Ben's, like I said, like he's a monster.
Wow. I mean,
the check back's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that whole hand was interesting, honestly. The thing is, too, if you think about it from Ben's perspective, he actually got to a river with the best hand for a lot of money, and then check back even when he's behind. But he's out the door, right? He's got 10. He's still got 2 million. He's got 20 bigs that he wouldn't have if he had played it the other way.
You know what? I have played with Petroni a little bit, actually, now that I see his avatar. I remember him now.
Yeah, this is a battle of the kings here. We see 3 kings in a row, 2 players very experienced with each other. We see king 9 likely going to go limp in this spot, king 9, king 3 suited. Although, you know, this is also where there's a lot of creativity blind on blind. And actually, this is a spot where I sometimes get confused, or where I'm like, wow, like this is interesting to limp to 3x king 9 being covered, 5 left. We see a very good flop for Ben. What do you think about the 3x there?
Blind versus blind 3x. I'm sorry, I missed it. Actually, did Ben make it 3x?
Yeah.
And then Bruno Calder was like limp 3x. I like it a lot. Thing is, like, how often do you actually have a good hand in poker pre-flop? Like not very often. And when you're and it folds 2 in the small blind, the odds of your opponent having like randomly 2 good cards behind it, if he's gonna have bad cards more often than not. But now people defend so wide that sizing up, you'll get more folds, and you just want to win the pot now.
Yeah.
Like anytime you win a pot, no matter how small, it's a victory, especially deep in a tournament like this. And you don't have to, it doesn't have to be huge pots all the time.
Yeah. This is king 9 in a really good spot all of a sudden here. Ben thinking about what to do if he wants to call or raise. I mean, gonna get some reassurance here, king 9. Yeah, he is he is in a good spot. And let's see, Bruno, though, with this run out, what does he do with the top pair? 2.2 million, 1.5 in the middle. What can he do? Does he value bet? Does he check? I mean, I guess this is Bruno's been goes for some thin value. Can't blame him, Scott, if he bets here. Definitely thinks he has the best hand.
No, I think he's going to.
Check. Wow.
Beast. I wonder how many of Bruno's obviously very, very good. I wonder how much randomizing he's doing in spots like this for the bet and checks and stuff like that and sizes. If you pay a lot of attention when you're playing live, some of the crushers, you'll actually realize that they're literally randomizing every street of every hand in some fashion, whether it's a sizing or a check or a bet or a raise. They're literally randomizing every single hand.
Yeah. I didn't realize, like, when I first heard about randomizers, I thought it was almost like a cop out in a way. I'm like, man, what do you mean you just randomize in like these spots? But it is more common than I guess I ever realized. A lot of players online do that too, right? They just like they're literally randomizing all the time in spots. Well, when did you first start hearing about randomizing?
First started hearing about it a couple years ago, probably like 3 years ago ish. Honestly, when did I really start doing a lot of it? That's more like the last 12 months. It adds like another level of complication to a game. It's already so freaking hard, but it is really important, especially in certain situations.
Well, we are going to see Bruno and Ben here are the two picks. If they win, you guys get a $100 giveaway. At the end of the stream, it'll be a GG ticket. If someone else wins, you get 50. Nike's having himself quite the afternoon, up to 5 million chips. And again, maybe the player I recognize the least. We are all guaranteed some real money, $121,000 at the minimum from this point forward. 325 up top. Scott, when did you start playing online poker? When did you ever think? I mean, this is a Tuesday afternoon awarding $325,000. What is your back in the day, I remember there were $200, $500 tournament was a big tournament. It just seems crazy now that like 10Ks online are not, it seems like they happen regularly. What was your big kind of tournament buy-in growing up, when you were playing poker online, let's say 2004, 5, 6, were you playing high stakes online?
I didn't play poker back then, man.
Really?
I actually never played poker pre-Black Friday. I actually started playing poker when Twitch Poker became a thing. That was when I started. That being said, like I have like very fond memories of like the first time I won, like beat someone heads up for $20 or something in a set heads up sitting go. It was like a huge deal. It was $20, man.
Yeah.
It was very meaningful.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's another meaningful hand here. We got ace, king to tens, and that is it, man. Just, you can't blink, Scott. You blink, and we're down to 4. No. And, man, my man is out. Look at that impressive GG poker career. $3 million in earnings. Going to add some more to that, be over $2 million in super.
So this guy has $3 million in cashes on GG, this means, right?
Yep.
I'm just curious, and if you don't know the answer, it's totally fine, but is there – when do they decide to real name someone? Like, how come Benjamin Roll's real named and Spacey's not? Is it like a dollar threshold when you've won this much, or is it like what is it? Because it seems like a huge advantage to not be real named.
That's an amazing question. I actually asked this recently, specifically because I don't know. I think it's like the determination is if you're a pro. What do you call it? Like, there is a threshold. It's, it's similar, Scott, which is it's a bit tricky, right? Like the businessman, like, are you a businessman? Are you a pro? Like, are you on G? Is it because you don't have to be? Your name is not your name on GG, correct?
It's not my name. I would have no problem if they changed it, and it's a name that like most people would know me as, anyways. If you know who I am from poker, like I've had the name Rumcake as a handle since I was like a little kid from video games. So it's also not a name that's like hiding who I am, if that makes sense. Like if you've heard of me and you've heard the name Rumcake, you'll know that's me more. Like, yeah, I wanted to be overly clear with who I was when I did it.
Yeah, it's a great question. I actually still to this day don't know. I feel like I asked and I've gotten told something, but I don't want to say like
Yeah,
the
no, that's fine.
official
That
terms
makes
and
sense.
conditions.
That makes sense.
But
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, don't say if it's not like a very clear, like this is obviously why, and not a big deal. Everyone should know this thing.
yeah, I think,
It does.
but there is a policy, right? It is based on some criteria, and it's not just like, oh, this guy, like I think I heard of him, this guy I haven't. I mean, obviously those are some good results, right? Space, like you could argue, um, it's it should be there should be a clear terms and conditions. I'm sure there is. I just still don't have that. So we will pick that up. And let's pick up the action here. 7-8 is got the best hand. 10-8 suited for our friend Nike. Is he going to go for it here? He's got one of the worst hands he can have. Wow. Guy's got heart.
I mean,
Ramirez looks interested.
Like, if Romero calls here and is wrong, like ICM is like massive. So this is a great time to apply a bunch of pressure because him going to fourth in chips is a huge deal. So I like what Nike did there a lot.
Yeah, let's see Nike if he's going to go. I mean, look at this is like one of those situations. You have an amazing situation. All three have the similar stack, almost identical, and you have a chip lead of like 2.5 or so X. So let's see. I mean, some players take this to the max. Some players, even here you could argue just fold and move on, but it just feels like a good spot to go for it. And he does make it 3X and King 7. These are one of the uncomfortable hands where you like probably have the best hand. Do you just see a flop? It starts out innocent, but then all of a sudden you start getting a lot of pressure put on you. It does go with the call. And look at this. This is one of those exact situations where a 10 has a key card and could easily put on some pressure here.
Yeah, especially with the stack size, for sure. This is Romero's in a tough spot in all of these hands because Nike's like small blind he's opening 10-4 off. Like he's going to be putting pressure on every hand because he can. This is kind of like how you start to run away with a tournament,
Yeah. Yeah, this is where things can escalate quickly. And you see that 7.5, he does officially go to 3X the other three stacks. So it is kind of a license to get saucy. And, it's hard in this particular tournament format to see people just be able to like completely blast. I'm a little surprised. Folds King 6 off there in that spot, right? That seems like a clear open to me.
Yeah, it's less clear than the sevens was, but still pretty clear.
Huh.
But also, again, like I'm not saying he believes this, or I'm not saying anyone's better than anyone at this table because that'd be very rude of me. But like maybe Romero just is like Ben Roll's just better than me and going to run me over, so I just don't want to play hands versus him. So I'm going to be a little tighter in certain spots and kind of make my range a little tighter. That way, he can't punish me as much.
That's true. I think obviously part of that's like a respect factor too, right? He's not blowing over a couple of just absolute slouches. He's got guys that are capable or willing. And I'm just a bit surprised to take the 4-10 off out of position and then not raise in position the King 6 offsuit. That's what is a little bit interesting to me.
I agree. What time is it? You're in the States right now.
It is 4:40. Is it? What's it? 12:40 there?
11:40.
Oh, 7 hours. Okay, I thought it was 8. I thought it was 8 hours. And
it's actually perfect though. I think the 50K is at 3 tomorrow, so it's just chill.
Nice, very nice. So yeah, again, appreciate you being here, Scott. We are going to pick a winner at the end. We are going to I'm going to do that soon. When you get to 200 thumbs up, it'll be a $50 or $100 tournament ticket on GG tournament dollars. And here we've got a interesting river as Bruno Volkmann has a comfortable 2-pair. Things get a little dicier, obviously, with double flush draw board and on the river a 4-liner. Would imagine Nike. We did see him turn in a similar spot into a bluff. Let's see what he does here. Does he want?
I don't think Bruno's folding here very often, just to whatever, because Nike also should be applying all the pressure, and 2-pair is just so strong.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm hoping this doesn't make noise. I'm trying to figure out how to order food because I've only had like half of a meal today.
Yeah. No worries. You gotta eat, man. Yeah. Do you find yourself eating at the poker table when you
No, I
are...
never do. It's actually hilarious. It's what, I have a joke where I just call it World Series of weight cuts, man. Every World Series, I'll just like lose a bunch of weight because I'm just not eating.
Yeah. It's hard on the road, man. It really is hard. It's hard to eat. It's hard to do the right things. It's hard to be on a good diet and routine. I actually find that time change to Cyprus pretty tough. I mean, it's a bit of a tricky time zone change. So it's important to get acclimated early. And I'll tell you what, right now, Nike with a very interesting hand here. Ace Jack has the ace of hearts, 2 hearts, King Jack 4. Ramiro with a strong hand. He's got a Queen 8 of hearts, but not so fun to be drawing with the ICM on the line here. Although for this price, Scott, I can't imagine he can fold.
No, that would be insane. Well, you know what's it's interesting when we talk about ICM. One of the things that people make mistakes with ICM is like the amount of bluffs that you're allowed to have when there's heavy ICM pressures just go down so much. But you still have to have some, right? Is this a hand that he decides to turn into a bluff?
Yeah, I mean,
this one, he totally can, but it's a tough one because he's like, he's blocking Queen 10. He's also like blocking a whole bunch of the stuff that like could have gotten this far too. That we try to get to fold out. Like we're not trying to make a Queen 9 flush draw full deal with a Jack. He does decide to turn a bluff with bluff.
Yeah, I mean, to his credit too, it looks very strong, right? You're bluffing into the chip leader. It's a critical time of the tournament. This has got to get a lot of weight, a lot of credit.
I like the size a lot too. A lot.
Yeah, I do too. This I think will work, but man, Nike's actually made some really impressive plays and made some good decisions here. Let's see if he can sort this one out.
Turn went check, right? Or turn went check. Bet call, yeah, bet call.
Bet call, and look at that. Ramiro showing us some game there. Big pot, big moment. That might be the hand of the day. Just situation. I feel like that was a difficult trigger to pull. He does now put himself in second, has a slight lead over the other players, and Nike with the ace 3 suited is going to go ahead and min raise it up. Appreciate everyone hitting the thumbs up. 130 so far. We got almost 1,000 on with us. Appreciate you guys. And again, we will have some tickets awarded, a $100 ticket if Ben or Bruno, the Bees win it, you're good. If Nike wins it, someone will get 50. Don't worry. We do need to get to 200 thumbs up, and we are going to be sweating Scott as well in the Cyprus 200K. Scott, I'm excited for you, man. That's got to be cool, right? Anytime you can do a highlight career milestone, it's nice. You know, it's you just hit the $1 million bounty. You've won 2 bracelets, but you're playing the biggest buy-in you've ever played. That's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm actually really relaxed too. I have no pressure. Like if I would love to do well, obviously, but if I randomly don't, right, I don't cash, which is like a huge high percentage thing in tournaments. Like I'm gonna come home just as happy as I was when I got here, which is really refreshing to feel that way.
Yeah, that is a nice. It's nice. It's important. So poker's so important to have confidence, to be dialed in, feel fresh, feel good, and you know, it's like there's definitely something to be said about good form. And you know, it's so many times you're in big spots, right? Flips. You got to fade cards and the energy. I don't want to go spiritual on you, Scott, but I'm sure you know it, right? When you're in that flow matrix, things are clicking, things are good. It's a great feeling when you're in that state. You feel like you're gonna win every hand.
In the 30K, I made a big call, put my money in good, and when he got there in the turn, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they got there. Like I'm running so good in life right now. It's unreal. I can't believe I lost the flip. Not a flip, but I can't believe it happened. And the positivity goes a long way. It's like you were just saying, like when you see people getting really angry and stuff, they're probably not doing too well overall.
Yeah, it's true. You know, and then the people that you can see take a sick beat or get knocked out of a huge tournament, smile and legitimately look fine. It's like, wow, okay, that guy's got his stuff together. Because there's different ways of handling it. You can be tilted, you can be upset, you can be nonchalant, or you can actually be legitimately kind of, you know, like just really genuinely be happy and just not let it not show on your face. And that's not easy to do. And I'll tell you what's not easy to do is to be attacking the chip leader. And Ramiro's battling and fighting, and he is up to over 3 million. He is currently in second, separating himself a little bit.
There he goes.
Yeah, we're gonna do a keyword here for you in a second, guys. Let's get it going. 155 thumbs up. We'll do a keyword. Let's do million. Let's see. What are we going to do? Million.
Do you remember when you were here, if you ordered room service, was it like a menu or was it like on the TV?
I don't really, honestly, their food, the buffets and their stuff's so good. I've rarely ever eat the food. Like the food
no,
there's
that makes
really
sense.
good.
The food down there is really good.
I actually don't remember. I think they have a menu.
Give me a sec. I'm gonna find it because I'm afraid they might close at midnight. You know.
All right, keyword's going to be bounty millionaire because that's what you got. You got Scott Ball, who just won the $1 million bounty from $200 on GG. Bounty millionaire is the keyword. It is the keyword. That is going to be what you got to do. Hit the thumbs up, type in the keyword. Someone's going to win $50 or $100, and we are seeing some high-level poker. Ben Raleigh with the queen jack suited, though. This is a very playable hand, and look at this. The respect. The ICM just came in there. He decides to give it up. This is fascinating. This, to me, there's so many plays where I'm like, I think I know what I would do, and then I see these guys do different things, and I know this is the top echelon of players, and these are some critical big situations. Again, huge money up top with 325 versus 155.
The pay jumps are massive. There's 3 people between you and another 175K or something. 170K, is that the difference?
Yeah.
So much more money.
Yeah, it's big.
I'm gonna mute my mic for 1 second, okay, man?
Yeah, no worries.
I'll be
All right,
back in
well,
1 sec. Sorry.
As Scott does that, I am going to be picking a winner here shortly. So get that up in the chat. Bounty Millionaire. Hope you guys are enjoying. Jeff Gross alongside Mr. Scott Ball. And we got some high stakes action for you today. The 10K, season 2, episode 57. We were off last week. We will be back next week. And I actually am going to be in Cyprus. I'm going to see if I'm able to host. If not, may be missing you guys. But I know I got Jeremy Osmus, some other crushers lined up for you. Antonio Sfandiari confirmed as well. So one of my closest friends got me to meet my wife at Burning Man, so I got a little extra love for him, but we were just there enjoying. All right, well, we've got Force in the tank for 2.2 million. It's a pair, but if you want to give up the chip lead, flipping at best. And he does call. Huge spot. Hand of the day. Pocket 4s. Jack 10 suited. We're off to the races. It is a set on the flop. 4-5-7. Jack 10 needs a ton of help, and that is not it. Needed running chop straight. I think the 6 comes in, but not enough. In a huge moment for the remaining players. We're down to 3. 198 locked up. A very talented Bruno Volkman goes out, and Nike is off to 8.6 million. And there's about as many chips as Bruno Volkman has in winnings on GG. Pretty impressive stuff. Yeah, wow. That's a big hand, big knockout. 5s, queen deuce. It's going to go ahead and raise it up. All right, that's good for Bounty Millionaire. If you click the thumbs up, if you click Bounty Millionaire, you are eligible for coming in. We are going to go from there, guys. We're down to 3. The chip leader, Nike Miller. Now you're rooting for Ben Raleigh at home, guys. You got to put, if you want the $100 versus 50, that is who you're rooting for. I am pretty hungry myself. All right, we are down to 3. So getting organized, getting situated. Again, remember the highlights every week with the guest. I put on my YouTube channel, Jeff Gross Poker. I put up vlogs, other stuff, highlights from my podcast on there, but also very exciting and condensed down. If you missed the Super Millions ever, you don't have the full 2-3 hours to watch, you can always go watch about a 20-minute highlight on my YouTube channel with the previous guest on Mondays. So hope you guys check that out. I make notes on hands, and we do try to put the most interesting stuff on there. So check that out. And we are ramping up here. King 5, 4, 8, gonna check back. Ben's got some showdown, not enough. King 5 does take a pot for Mr. Ramiro. So you can see things are sort of, you got 8 million, 4 million, 2 million. A little bit of a ladder situation. And Ben with the 6120, he is the shortest stack. Pretty good hand there. See what he does. Goes for the limp. All right, flops pretty well. He's actually got the best hand. He has the best draw, drawn in the nuts and a gut shot. He is going to go ahead and beat that out, and Nike is just not going to put any more chips in with the 8-3 off. So ace queen 6-3. Interesting on the sizing. Be curious to get Scott's thoughts on that with the ace. These type of strong hands and just kind of min raising. Maybe it has the full range. We're going to see again ace queen. It's nice to be chip leader and get dealt premiums 3-handed as a chip leader. All right, Jack 10, 9.
We did it.
4. You got the room service through?
Victory.
There you go. Small victories that's important, man. You guess good to get it now. So it comes, show ends, eat, get a good sleep, get on a good schedule, get ready to crush. We are down to 3. We've seen some action, and Nike's up to 8.8. So he's got a little bit of a double, right? So it's like 2 million, 4 million, 8+ million. Nike in the driver's seat. All right, I am gonna choose a winner here in a second, guys. Hit Bounty Millionaire. That is in honor of Scott, who did become a Bounty Millionaire officially. He may have been before, it's possible, but I don't know. It's hard to win $1 million in bounties, and he has officially got that from the $200 buy-in. Pretty cool. Great to have him on, as always, a crusher. And, you know, that's does that go on your GG earnings? If we see you at this final table, do you think it shows that in GG earnings? I guess it does, right? Because that tournament result will go down as like you want. Yeah,
I have no clue.
It's nice to have. It's not a normal situation, but we're seeing it, and we're seeing Nike go for just some min raises. And look at Ben decide with the Jack 7 off, Scott. I've really been interested in Ben's 3-bet selection of hands and when to do it. Makes it work.
I mean, he's definitely sharp. The bottom of his range sometimes, and definitely the top. Mixing it up.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. We are down to 3. Down to 3. Gonna play to a winner. 325 up top, 198 guaranteed. That's a lot of Sherbert, and we are literally going down the wire here. I mean, look at these hands for 3-handed. It's some pretty special
Massive
hands.
3-handed.
Yeah, and Ben again gonna step out of line, but I don't think it's gonna work versus Ace Jack suited.
Do they get more time when it goes heads up or no?
So no, so you see that clock down to a minute 30. You get the chess clock for the whole time. So actually Ramiro's in a bit of danger here with
that's like that's tough. He has to play a whole heads up match potentially and 3-handed, and he has 90 seconds to think.
You get 5
That's
minutes
a
on
disadvantage.
Yeah, 5 seconds on every decision, every street. So yeah, that we've seen it before. It's definitely a disadvantage, and he's flirting with that right now at minute 30. He's got to be cognizant of that. And look at this. The ace comes out, and Ben decides to not bet the flop and take the lead. And if you're Ramiro, you're like, why are you betting, right? Why now are you betting when I have, like, could he be against ace queen? Could he be against ace king? This is a very tough spot. Wow.
Yeah, I think that it's just he's never folding though.
No,
It's
not
tough, but
folding.
it stands way too good to do anything but call. And the position's so powerful, man. He can just call and give Ben the opportunity to bluff it off on the river. And if he doesn't, now he can pick a size and go for it if he wants to.
Yep, look at that. Nice pot. Ben is now in officially a bit of trouble, 5 million, 8 million, and he has got 1.2 million. We can see.
Ooh, he's going to be all in here probably. Going to see if he can hold versus the old King Jack. Heads up is so hard too. To have to play a heads up match against a competent opponent and have a minute to think would be very stressful.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is one of those things where, man, it's just crazy to think the pay jumps. They're so big. You got 325, 254, 198, and Nike has the driver's seat right now. Ramiro going to go ahead and stick this in. Ben, you start getting short. This is King 7 could be the best hand, but this is one of the ones. It's not fun to call off in tournament poker, Scott, but sometimes you got to make big calls. This is not a hand where he's ahead, and he still has 11 blinds. Does fold it.
Have you studied a lot of like the 10 big blind stuff with ICM and all that? Like the limps that are randomly incorporated and stuff? It's really fascinating. You can do so much more stuff with a 10 big blind stack than so many people realize.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's a treat to watch this particular final tables each week, because I do see some very unique stuff and interesting things. Take some notes, put the hands on to review, and there's definitely guys doing very creative things, and that's the thing. Poker's obviously not luck, right? There's a lot of skill, and there's a lot of people doing great stuff. And you know
what? That's my favorite part about poker is it's so hard, and people are so good, and every time I play, I learn something. Every single time I learn, and like learning is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. It's just an amazing game that there's opportunities to be able to do and improve at all times. It's pretty incredible. Even the best players in the world still get to study and improve and learn stuff. And it's really up to you, right? If you want to put the time and effort, you can definitely make big strides. But at the moment, we're going to see if Nike can make a big stride and knock down his first title. He has some cashes. He's had a couple runs, but he has no titles. And out of this, Benjamin Raleigh actually has one Super Millions title that came in season 1, and Ramiro Patron has one as well in season 2. So can Nike get it done? How many bullets
are these guys in for, by the way? How many bullets are each of them in for?
I don't. It doesn't show, at least here. Maybe in the lobby it does. I can't access that where I am, but I'm not sure if it does mention right in the Super Millions. They do. I think it does show in the lobby how many. Yep.
It's always so crazy when you look at a tournament and you just like see some random person and be like, there'd be parentheses like 17. And if you're in 17 bullets in this tournament, my God.
And you've seen 17 in a Super Millions?
Not in the Super Millions, no. Back in the day, I saw someone enter, and it was just a 10K on GG, just a random 10K. I saw someone enter it. It was either 19 or 21 times.
Wow.
I've seen that.
Wow. This is a big spot right here. I mean, 285 in the middle. Ben going to check, but this is definitely a spot where, how can you go anywhere if you're Nike? If you get raised here, I mean, you got the pair and the flush draw. Let's see if Ben's just going to blow it up here or just call. I guess
so. This is actually fascinating too. Nike's hand is so good. Then betting's obviously great because he has a ton of equity and he can just call it off anyways. Really, right? But also like his hand, it's not really that strong. It has showdown value and can vastly improve. So this is a hand that like I actually really like checking back a lot because like it allows to not just play a bloated pot like this now and have to make a difficult decision on the river, to where the pot is smaller so that whatever size Ben picks is gonna be simpler to play.
Grab something real quick here. Give me 2 seconds.
I see chat saying he was in for 6 bullets. Wow, that's a lot of bullets. It's okay though, he's got a massive bankroll. The dude's a legend.
Yeah, Yeah, you know they're going to do a Super Millions Live edition where you get to track the results and you see like exactly lifetime how much you're up or down in that specific tournament. So it's kind of cool. Like, you know, 'cause
Oh, that's
sometimes
very cool.
yeah, like Hen and Mob, it's great. You get to see earnings, but you don't get to see someone's career, exactly how they're doing. But in this particular format, you'll get to see like ROI, who's performed the best, and how they've done. You know, in this particular live, they'll have this at a lot of stops around the world. So yeah, pretty cool. Excited to see that.
Awesome. Is there? This is a totally different question. Never mind. I'll ask this later.
All right, when we get to heads up, guys, I am going to draw the winner of the ticket. Will either be a $50 or $100. You got to just type in Bounty Millionaire. If you did that and you hit the thumbs up, you're eligible. And we will go ahead and do that. So let's see what we got. 50 or 100, man. You never know. Starts with we saw you could do a 200. Who knows what you can do with 100 or 50? Scott turned 200. Was it 210 or 215? What was it buying? 210?
10, I think, yeah.
Yeah. $1 million winner. I say it's just fun to say. I just like talking about it. I just love that I know you. You know, like it's not like some random person
I was
I've
actually
never heard
just
of.
thinking
Like,
about that when
Yeah.
I came onto this with you. It's so cool. Like you said something earlier. You were like, "Yeah, I got 1,000 people here." I remember going to your old condo when you were first going to start up streaming, and like now just like casually having 1,000 people in here watching you is like obvious. Of course, there's 1,000 people watching this right now. It's just so crazy to see how much it's developed and how far you've come with everything you're doing, and just it's awesome, man. Seeing your friends progress in life and achieve things is so cool.
Well, it's mutual. Same to you. I remember the moment, like we were deep that one tournament on, it was ACR, the $1 Million Sunday, where you got deep and I ended up chopping it. And that was like, and I just remember thinking about that time where we were both so deep, and it was like online. It was my longest 25-hour stream, played all night,
Yep.
and my biggest score online at the time. And, you know, and then seeing you like win bracelets and win $1 million bounty and play 200Ks and all that. It's just like, yeah, it's cool to see people that have been around in poker for a long time.
It's
and
awesome.
still
Man. I
playing.
love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, we got Queen 10 and 9-4. Queen 10 has the best hand. Ramiro looks interested, but that's sizing. I just can't. I mean, how can you really call here and then just pray to be good on the river and not get out? I think this sizing is just going to end this, but you never know, man. He's wasting time. Whoa, Scott. It's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game guessing on here.
It is, but it's a game that we have to play. Like we have to raise with the bottom of our range sometimes, and this is a great time to do it with a great candidate. It's scary as heck when you do it, though.
Yeah, again, the if you're making notes on Ramiro, it's like the guy it's like the spots he's choosing, right? He gets that extra strength. Seeing Ben sort of be so short, if you're Nike, you're like, man, are you really gonna bluff here? You're gonna give up a chance for, you know, whatever, what, $56,000 like on bluffing off, or, you know, it just looks super strong. So credit to Ramiro for really picking a few times where I think he's leveraging that situation to his advantage and actually made
Absolutely
the better hand fold and took some really good candidates, as you said, to bluff.
It's one of the hardest things about poker sometimes is like when you find these like really difficult spots and you're like, this is the time. But then actually making yourself do it. It's always like, this is the time, and then convince yourself otherwise.
It's true. You're absolutely right. It is absolutely right. How much does it matter, do you think? Do you think it's an advantage or disadvantage? Because I know you haven't like been a regular on the Triton stops, right? Like you're here, you've played with some of these guys at the Aria, and you probably know, but you're maybe a little less known on your style. Is that fair to say in these fields? Like, do you think that's an advantage to you? A disadvantage, or do you think actually people are familiar with you enough because of the success you've had at winning the Player of the Year at the WSOP? For no limit.
I think it's an advantage if you understand your image and where each individual perceives you, because some people are going to be like, wow, this is a huge buy-in for me, doesn't play these, and just want to run it on you because they think you're going to be afraid. And some people will know I'm not, because they play cash with me or whatever in big games, and it just really depends on like how someone else sees you. This is a big hand right here, actually.
what a flop. But if you can figure out how each of your opponents views you and where they think you fall, and that kind of comes from actually paying attention to every single hand. Like, I haven't played a lot of poker with Phil Ivey, but he's here, and I played with him a few times, and oh, what a river!
Whoa.
Well, as I say, if you actually watch Phil Ivey play, like I haven't played with him enough. And obviously, he's very, very, very good. But is his game theory as good as the best player? Like is his game theory as good as Linus is? I don't know. Probably not quite as good as Linus in terms of game theory. But when you watch him play, he pays attention to every single thing the entire time, and somehow never gets distracted and just never misses a beat. And I think when you watch all of this and you pick up all this information, like that it makes someone so much more dangerous. And it's really easy to sit there at a poker table and just like get gaze off into space and be on your phone and not paying attention. He just doesn't do that. And I think it's like so savage and cool to see just how focused he is.
Yeah, I agree with you. No, it's amazing. And again, at the highest level, right, it matters so much. All the little nuances, the differences, being present, being off your phone, being on time, doing the little things like it's amazing too, with someone like you mentioned, Phil Ivey, that was so successful, probably has a lot of other stuff going on, is able to disconnect and dive in to that. That to me is what's super impressive. And he just competes still at such a high level. Is he on your Mount Rushmore for poker? Is he a lot of people he is that, would you put Phil Ivey up there?
Oh, for sure. He's got to be, I mean, he's got to be just like one of the GOATs. And he's still doing it and like still like getting sick results, and like, I mean, you guys just a beast. And it's, what's so funny is like I've played with him now like 4 or 5 times, 6 times, but a reasonable amount of hours. And it's almost like I can't even say I met him because he like doesn't speak. I played with him and seen him ponder thoughts, but never really like, he doesn't talk much.
Yeah, it's true.
Which it's really, he's just so focused.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think we got a little slight pause here. Take a look at the payouts. I mean, it really is a huge difference. 4.5 buy-ins for 9th, all the way up to 32.5 buy-ins for 1st. And I'd like to ask this to guests, how do you sort of approach big final tables, Scott, in terms of going for ICM or going for it? And did that change when you won a World Series bracelet, like the first one? Because you won one, then afterward. Did you find yourself at the second one like, all right, I got one, let's play a little more for the money, or even the difference, like I already got one, I'm doing well, and I want to go for more? Or do you just kind of approach each final table situationally with your stack and with who's there?
Really, I think the most important thing when you approach a final table is to understand the jumps are big, incorporate in your play, but also like not care or pay attention to the amounts of money. When people are playing for money that they're like kind of afraid to lose, it really shows and it makes people make bad decisions. So that being said, you have to be aware of how much there is up top, and like that pay jumps that really matter, but also like try not to stress over the fact of like, I know I need to do this, but if it doesn't work, I'm losing $40,000 or whatever. It's like, you can't let that kind of control you. So when I have a big FT, I try not to pay attention to the money per se, just understand that there's a ladder every time and it's going to be big because that's how ladders work at final tables and it's really important. But I don't add any extra pressure to the numbers or anything. I just kind of like focus and make the decisions that I think are correct and purely focus on that rather than the jumps. Like if you'll never see me in an online tournament like knowing what I have locked up per se at a final table, or like if I'm here like you're in a final table here, I probably wouldn't like you'll know because it's on a giant screen kind of, but that's not something I'm really paying attention to on the screen. Like if I look at the screen, I'm not looking at what's locked up or what's next. I'm looking at the time and things like that instead.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's also sometimes it's hard to know, right? If it is life changing, or yeah, I mean this 200K, this is going to be you make the final table, that's some real money, right? I mean this is what'll be first. Yeah. It's going to be 64 at least with rebuys. Call it what, like 90, 80 times 200. I mean we're talking 4 million plus probably for first, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I heard someone thinks it's going to be a little over 5.
Yeah, and I think they do generally do more a little top heavy on Triton, like up top a little. So yeah, 5 million to first. You know, if you get in some spots, everyone, it's hard to really know, right, how you'll feel when you get there, because that is a new stratosphere of payouts. I know I've never played for a $5 million to first prize pool. I think I've been in some decent spots, a million or so final table. They've been pretty huge, but yeah, it's different. And everyone can say they don't care about the money, the trophy, this and that. But look, it's a lot of money, Scott. That's a lot of.
No, it's a ton for sure.
It's a lot.
It's a ton for sure.
We are on a short break, and again, Scott Ball here. Scott Ball is in Cyprus, and we are now not on a short break. And we pick up a nice hand, Scott. We get a nice looking ace king. Probably just going to be raise, get in. But
this is actually more interesting though than it would look like, because Ben's so short. Like like this just sucks. Like
wow. Ben is rooting for some spades or diamonds. He's got a slight shot.
2 spades.
Oh,
God.
no way. The Ben CB fans out there.
Oh my God.
No way. Oh
my God.
Wow. That
ladder. That was like a $60,000 ladder, right?
Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to announce the winner, and it is my man. And it could be a 50 or 100. We don't know yet. We do not know. And I'll tell you who it is. Where is he? I'm going to message. There he is. I'm going to message in the hat. Wow.
That was like a 56 or 57K pay jump, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was just gonna say. Is this spot is so sick for Ben, because you just free rolling a ladder and bink.
Wow. Wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna message the chat. So this guy won. I'm just making a note. Basketball Maven won. Let me see. $50 or $100, depending if Ben or Nike wins. Benjamin Rowley is there. Look, he's in the chat. There he is. Ben Brace it. I mean, that is sick, man. And now he's super short, but he is already he's in the. You can't bet against Ben. So Scott, we could have a long or short battle. I just don't know. That is
so hard to.
That was sick.
Take a 13-1 chip deficit, but I'm sure Ben's made crazier things happen before.
Wow. I'm just that was wild, man. I mean, that reminded me of course, a different situation. That $1 million, that's probably the most famous one with Connor Drynan, where that Kerry Katz hit that running aces to aces all in pre. But that was pretty sick.
Insane.
That was very sick, and I love Ben, so I'm a huge Ben fan, and I'm lucky for.
I actually never met Ben, but he's someone that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. The way he plays, he's very, very, very good.
He does that course. You're familiar with Raise Your Edge, I'm sure. I mean, there's several good courses out there, but I'm biased.
Yeah, I haven't actually done anything with this course or looked at it, but I know it's supposed to be really good. Sure, it is.
Yeah. I'll put that endorsement out there, and Ben is now dropping knowledge in the chat, saying he could win or come in second. And I think we might just see the hand right now, Scott. We might be. This could be it, or it could be a double up. But the money's going in. Ace Queen. I always talk about how this hand is so hard to win with. This hand is live. Could we see a new? We are down. I mean, Ben is in a dire straits. He needs to find that queen, and there's only 3 available. 3 outs on the river, and it is not paint. Not paint. We got a new champion. Nike is the winner, and my man won $50, not $100.
Look, it just says easy in the chat too. This is glorious.
Basketball Maven has got it. So $250, a quarter mil, cool quarter mil, going to the man, the myth, Benjamin, who was our last guest on the show, actually. So a little booth magic there, nice quarter mil pickup. Maybe took some notes, recognized some players, saw some different stages of the tournament. But Scott, give me sort of your takeaway, your final thoughts on this final table. You joined us a little late, but anything that stands out to you?
I mean, like, when Ben gets that ladder there, like, the people most people underestimate how much, like when we have good fortune like that, how much it actually does for our win rates and spots. And it's just like it's so important that we appreciate those things and recognize how fortunate it happened. I'm sure Ben does, but like that's an incredible result, obviously, in a very tough tournament. He's in every league firing away, and like just to get second in that fashion, that was so insane. I feel like we both knew it was going to happen too when we saw the third one come out. Like, oh god, here it comes.
It did feel sort of like it was coming. And I'll say, talk about fortune now. Just going to leave you with this, guys. You never know when something's going to just go your way. Stay positive, stay happy. Scott Ball right there took down the $1 million bounty in the $200 buy-in. And it can happen anytime, anywhere. Stay positive, play your best. Be a good person, and good things happen, Scott. I will see you in Cyprus. Let me think who won. So Nike won, I believe that I won the dinner. Either way, you know what? It's all good. At Cyprus, it's buffets. We'll have a dinner in Cyprus. We'll have a good time. And we appreciate you coming on. We'll see you over there. Good luck in the 200K. Best of luck at the whole series. And I'll see you very shortly in Cyprus.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Jeff Gross, that's Scott Ball. We'll see you next week.